This is Audible.
Audible Studios presents The Rocker Who Holds Me, written by Terri Ann Browning, performed by Devra Woodward.
Prologue. It's raining. I love the rain, but not the thunder and lightning. The flashing lights aren't as bad as the angry thunder. It reminds me of Mama when she's in a rage, high on drugs, drinks, and men. Today I have a double dose of it because there's a thunderstorm raging outside, and my monster of a mother is in one of her own rages. I had hoped and prayed to God that she would just go to sleep like she usually does, but God wasn't listening today. It seems like God isn't listening any time I pray to him. I'm beginning to wonder if he even exists, like the preacher who stops by from time to time says he does. Mama curses God a lot, so I think she believes in him. The rain soaks through my thin t-shirt and leggings. I snuck out of the window in my room as soon as Mama finished with me. The raindrops wash away my tears and the blood on the many cuts Mama left after she went after me with a switch and her fists. The cold water stung on my swollen welts and bruised body, but I was used to the pain. As soon as my bare feet touch down outside my window of our trailer, I race across the tiny section of grass that separates the rundown trailer that I live in to the one that Nick calls home. I pray that his mother hasn't decided to clean his room, that she hasn't locked the window, that he always leaves unlocked for me, just in case. As I step on the old 5-gallon bucket that I use as a stepladder, I let out a whimper when I find that, yes, Nick's mom has in fact been in his room. The window's locked. Shivering, I stand outside with no shoes, no coat, and now no warm room to escape into. I know that there is no use trying one of the other surrounding trailers. Jesse's dad is home, and I would never go in there when there's the chance that Mr. Thornton could find me. Drake and Shane's trailer only has a small window that is far too high for my little legs to reach, unless one of them helps me. A small sob escapes me, and I push the wet, matted hair away from my face, only to wince when I touch my swollen cheek. Mama was a pro at slapping my face, and today she'd been mainly on target considering the amount of drugs she's been taking and the booze that she chases it all with. There's a noise from across the small lawn. My mother has come back for round 2 and discovered that I'm gone. Heart racing, I do the only thing I can think of. I pull on the tin that underpins Nick's trailer. I pull and pull, slicing my palms as I do so. Finally, with a whimper of triumph, I pull it back enough so I can crawl under the trailer. Once I'm under, I pull the tin back into place. I swallow a scream when I sit back and my hand touches the skeleton of a mouse. I wipe my hand on my soaked leggings and then wrap my arms around my knees so I don't come into contact with the mouse again. Leaning my head back against the underpinning and closing my eyes, I pray that my mother doesn't think to look for me here. I must have fallen asleep. When I wake up, I hear Nick and Jesse calling my name. Both sound frantic. Emmy! Nick is right beside me on the other side of the tin. Em! I reach for the tin and pull it back enough to look out. They don't notice me at first. Nick is standing with Jesse. Both have on their band shirts that they let me help design. Jesse has his drumsticks in his left hand, while his other is clenched into a fist. Nick looks worried. She wouldn't have gone far. That fucking bitch! If I didn't think that they would take Emmy from us, I would call the cops so quick. Jesse is muttering. But they will, Jess. And then she would be in a worse place than she already is. At least here, we can take care of her, Nick tells the drummer. It's the same conversation they always have after every beating. If they called the cops, then social services would take me away. It isn't safe in foster care any more than it is at my mother's. Maybe even worse. I'm 7, and I understand what that means. Nick and the others have explained it to me more than once. I tug the tin back a little more and start to crawl out. I'm stiff and hurting. Mud is caked in the cuts left by the switch and the slice on my hand from the underpinning. I'm swollen and bruised, and I can already feel the tickle in the back of my throat that says I'm going to have a sore throat. Suddenly, strong arms are pulling me out. As soon as my feet are clear, I'm lifted into Nick's strong arms. "Fuck!" Jesse exclaims. "Shut up, Jess," Nick hisses as his arms tighten around me. I can see the wheels working in his mind. He's wondering where to take me, where to hide me. I hear laughing coming from my trailer. My mother must have one of her boyfriends over, and the sound of the television coming from his. If his mom sees me like this, she'll call the cops herself. Neither is an option. "My dad is gone." Jesse is already walking toward his trailer. "Come on, Nick." By the time they have me in Jesse's room, I'm shaking. I'm cold. So cold. And hurting so badly. "We have to get her warm," Nick says. "Start running the hot water so I can give her a bath." Jesse doesn't say anything as he leaves his room, and I hear water turning on from the next room. Nick sets me on my feet and starts pulling off my still wet t-shirt. I don't protest as he tugs my leggings down along with my panties. He sucks in a deep breath when he sees the bruises, the deep gashes on my legs and arms, and the ones on my back and across my stomach. "I'm sorry, Emmy," he whispers. "I'm so sorry." I don't say anything because I don't understand why he's sorry. He didn't hit me. This isn't his fault. I might only be a little girl, but I know that he can't always protect me. He has a band, and today his band had played at a party for some kids from his school. I wish he could have taken me, but I know that a 7-year-old at a high school party isn't a good idea. Shane tried to explain it to me, and I'm almost positive I understand the reasons for that. "Nick!" Jesse calls from the bathroom. "I'm not sure if this is too hot or not. Come here and check it out." Nick leads me by the hand into the bathroom and then bends to feel the temperature of the water. "This should be good." He lifts me and places me in the water. I whimper when the water touches my gashes. It hurts, but the heat of the water feels good on my cold legs. Soon, the shaking stops. Nick washes me, trying to be gentle as he cleans the wounds on my body. His jaw is clenched, and I think there are tears in his eyes. Later, after my hair is washed and smells good, he lifts me from the water and wraps me in a towel. Jesse has a box of Band-Aids with little princesses on them that he knows I like. But there is also a tube of the stingy ointment in his other hand, and I shake my head. "No, that hurts." Nick is rubbing the towel over my wet body, still trying to be gentle. Some of the gashes are bleeding again, and it hurts when the towel rubs across them. When he's done, he takes the ointment from Jesse, and I move away. "No, Nick," I whimper. "I don't want that." "I know, Emmy. I know it hurts. But you don't want them to get infected, do you?" He's blinking a lot, and I think he's trying not to cry. "If they get infected, you'll have to go to the doctor and get a shot." Those are the magic words. I hate shots. I hate doctors. So I sit on the small sink and let him put ointment all over me, trying not to whimper because it hurts. By the time he's done, the tube is almost empty. Jesse helps him put the Band-Aids on. After each one, they kiss away the hurt and say what they always say: "Get better." Jesse puts one of his shirts on me. It's so big they have to tie a knot in it so I don't trip over it when I walk. When I'm covered, Nick lifts me and carries me back into Jesse's room. They put me into the little bed against the wall and tuck a blanket that smells like Jesse around me. Shane and Drake come into the room. Shane has a bag from Walmart, and he pulls out a box of medicine. They give me a big dose of Tylenol and then feed me. Drake had stopped at McDonald's and got me a chicken nugget Happy Meal. My stomach growls, and I realize I haven't had anything to eat since the day before. My stomach hurts after the first bite. I sit and hold my tummy until the pain passes, and then I gobble the rest of the nuggets and fries up. I don't drink the Sprite that they got me until after I've eaten. It tastes good. Finally, I reach for my toy, a little stuffed animal with crazy hair and a t-shirt. I hold it close to my chest as Nick brushes the tangles from my damp hair. It pulls because it hasn't been brushed in a while, but I don't complain as he tries to be gentle. As the brush works through my hair, my eyes begin to grow heavy. Soon, I'm asleep. Chapter 1. I open my eyes the instant the bus stops. Grimacing, I push myself up from the sofa and glance outside. The tour bus is sitting in the parking lot of the hotel. Another bus loaded with all the crew and two 18-wheelers filled with all the stage and band equipment pull in. I want a shower and a full night's sleep so bad, but I still have too many things to do. Standing, I walk to the back of the bus to wake the others. Drake is sprawled out on his stomach in the bottom bunk, naked from the waist up. He has a bottle of Jack Daniels in his hand, the bottle half empty. Above him, Shane is snoring, his base clutched to his chest. Against the other wall, Jesse is talking in his sleep, muttering about some fucker. Sighing, I shake his shoulder first. Jess. I have to get in his ear and yell his name. They're all heavy sleepers, but Jess is always the heaviest. Jess, come on, let's go sleep in a real bed. Jesse yawns, then blinks. I grin down at him. Who else? I kiss his cheek and tug on his arm. Get up, we're here. When he sits up, I move on to Shane. All I have to do is try to take the base from him. He tightens his arms around it and sits up. I'm awake, he grumbles. Drake. I take the bottle of Jack from his hand and put the cap back on. The demon's wings tattoo across his back flexes as I wake him up. You need a shower so bad. I nearly gag at the stench of liquor on his breath when he turns over and pulls me down across him. Get up, you drunk. He kisses my cheek before he releases me. I stand, moving toward the end of the bus. You guys get dressed. After I wake up Nick, I'll handle getting our rooms. Don't go back to sleep, Jesse, I say, knowing he's planning on doing just that. I have a bucket of ice water calling your name if you do. He curses after me, but I just grin. The television's on, so I turn it off and drop down on the sofa beside Nick. He's in nothing but his boxers. I don't stop to ogle his hard chest and tight abdomen. I've done that plenty of times before. Instead, I put my hand over his mouth and pinch his nose. It takes a few seconds before he jerks and pushes me away. Bitch, he grumbles, but helps me up off the floor where I'd landed. Laughing, I stand and reach for his Demon's Wings shirt. Did you sleep well? I only fell asleep a few hours ago. He takes the shirt I offer him and slips it over his head. Got too much on my mind. Songs trying to get out, but locked in my brain. I had a dream. I confide. He stiffens, knowing that my dreams are never pleasant. You okay? Reaching for my hand, he pulls me onto his lap. Want to talk about it? Soothingly, he combs his fingers through my hair. I close my eyes and bury my face in his neck. God, he smells so good. Like always, you guys were taking care of me. It was one of the times my mother took a switch to me. Strong arms tighten around me and hands clench. My hair pulls, but I don't protest. Hate that bitch, he mumbles. Hope she's rotting in hell. I couldn't agree more. My mother died of a drug overdose 6 years ago. To say I was sorry would be a total overstatement. When I'd found her cold body after school, all I felt was an overwhelming sense of relief. I was 15, but I was free of the disease. My mother. I need coffee. Nick stands, with me still in his arms. I squeeze him close for another second, then wiggle free. I'll make sure you get it, I call over my shoulder as I head toward the front of the bus. It isn't your job to get it, he yells after me. But it is. All my life, Nick and the others have taken care of me. Even when they left me after getting signed 10 years ago, they still took care of me, sending me money and presents, making sure that someone checked on me every day. They toured, doing all the things that rockers do, but they called me every day. The cell they gave me was my lifeline. I was able to call, text, email, or anything else I wanted or needed, so I could talk to them every day. When my mother had died, they dropped everything as soon as I had called Nick, and they came back. They took care of the funeral. Then, when social services tried to take me away, they stepped up and said I was theirs. They took me away from all the darkness in that run-down trailer park we'd all grown up in. They bought me a laptop and arranged for me to take online classes so I could complete my education from the back of a tour bus. My guys are never going to leave me again. And I owe them for always taking care of me, picking me up, putting me back together, saving my sanity, feeding me, clothing me, loving me. Not many people would do that, but Nick, Drake, Shane, and Jesse are different. They saw me when I was 5 and took me under their dark wings, protected me even though they were only 10 years older than me. These guys are my family, and it's my turn to take care of them. So I handle everything. They want coffee, I get them coffee. If Drake needs a new case of 50-year-old scotch that's impossible to find, then I make sure he gets it. I take care of everything from hotel reservations to women. Yeah, I've become a pro at getting rid of whatever women outlive their expiration date. Normally, it's by the next morning. 2 hours later, I have all 4 of the guys in their rooms. I'd spent extra time in Drake's room to make sure he took a shower, brushed his teeth, got him into a pair of clean underwear, and put him to bed. By the time I get to my own room, I'm running on fumes. My own shower is quick, and I'm asleep before my head even hits the pillow. Jesse pounding on my hotel room door rouses me a few hours later. I glance at the clock, see that it's time to head to the Civic Center to get ready for tonight's concert, and jump out of bed. I open the door for Jesse so he doesn't knock the door down. He walks in just as I take off my sleep shirt. "You feeling okay, Em?" he asks, not even bothering to turn his head as I slip on my bra and pull a Demon's Wings shirt over my head. "You never oversleep." In truth, I have been feeling run down for a while, but I'm not going to tell him that. He'll tell the others, and they'll gang up on me and force me to go to the doctor. I hate doctors. Just had a rough night last night. Bad dreams. I put on fresh panties and a pair of skinny jeans, knee-high boots with 3-inch heels, and I'm done. I gather my messy hair into a ponytail, not bothering with makeup, and turn to find him still frowning at me. "I'm fine, Jess." I hug him tight, then stand on tiptoe to kiss his cheek. "Relax." I raise a hand and rub it over his bald head. He likes to keep it smooth. It's sexy as hell, and women always want to rub his head, but he only likes it when I do it. "I think we need a vacation," he mutters, following me out of the room. "Maybe we should go home for a while." I shoot him a look over my shoulder as I push the button to summon the elevator. And where exactly is home? We've been living on a bus for 6 years now. "Nick was talking about buying a house, but we can't decide on where we want to settle down. Drake suggested California. Shane wants Boston." He shrugs, stepping into the elevator with me. "What do you think?" Honestly, I don't know what to think. I'd follow them anywhere. As long as we're all together, I couldn't care less. I just hadn't expected them to be ready to settle down yet, even if we are getting tired of all the moving around. "I've never thought about it," I tell him. "Well, you need to. We want to know where you want to live. You know that where you go, we follow." His words warm my heart, and I hug him close. He drops a kiss on top of my head, and we step off the elevator once we arrive on the ground floor. Nick, Drake, and Shane are already waiting on us. They each gave me concerned looks, but I just walk by them to the waiting limo outside. Chapter 2. Setting up and doing a sound check are things I can't help with. Instead, I deal with the backstage stuff. I make sure that the dinner buffet is set so my guys can eat before they go on stage later tonight. Then I go through my list of things to do to get ready for the group of backstage pass fans. Most of them are female, all hoping to get into at least one of Demon's Wings members' bed. I hate each and every one of them and simply give all of them cool, disdainful looks. They hate me too. They seem to think that I'm the only female that the demons will ever love. And maybe that was true. For now, at least. One of my biggest fears was that they would all fall in love and leave me behind. Part of my job is to keep the backstage fans in their designated area, so security can watch them like hawks. You never know when one will try and sneak into the dressing room for a quickie. Or worse, get famous for killing a famous rocker. I also check on my guys, and am relieved to find all of them eating in their dressing room. Even Drake. But he makes me shake my head when I see that instead of a soda or even water, he's drinking from his signature bottle of Jack Daniels. I take it from him and put a bottle of cold water in his hands. Turning, I look at everyone to see if they need anything else. When they're done eating, I toss their plates in the trash and make sure they have either water or Gatorade in their hands. They need to hydrate because a concert always takes a lot out of them, especially Nick, who runs around the stage singing. I glance from one to the other, taking in the sheer male beauty of each of them. Drake and Shane, with their overly long dark hair and big blue-gray eyes, the brothers are dreamy with their strong facial features and lean, muscular bodies covered in tattoos. Jesse, with his bald head and those big brown eyes that change with his emotions. He's huge, with muscles bulging from every direction, leaving people wondering how he's able to handle the drums so smoothly because of his bulk. For just a second longer, I let my eyes linger on Nick. Nick, with his voice that fucks a woman from the inside out, and those ice blue eyes half hidden behind a curtain of thick, sooty eyelashes. There aren't many females that can say Nicholas Armstrong doesn't affect their libido even marginally. Lean, muscular, and a face that made the gods weep the day he was born. He's just as tall as his band brothers. The entire fan following for Demon's Wings is either in love, lust, or envious of him. So, which is it tonight? Blonde, brunette, or redhead? I ask with a raised brow and just a hint of a smile on my lips. Shane grins at me from the sofa he sprawled out on. I'll take one of each. I roll my eyes at him. Of the four of them, Shane's the biggest man-whore. One of each flavor is mild for him. Well, there are plenty to choose from. More blondes than anything, like always. Please be safe. I shoot Drake a meaningful look and then turn my gaze back to Shane. Are you prepared? Emmy. There's an actual blush in his cheeks. I just keep my eyes on him and raise an eyebrow. Finally, he looks away. I got condoms, he mutters. The others just snicker. I ignore them as I turn for the door. You have an interview at 9 in the morning. I've arranged for us to have the conference room back at the hotel, so please, have the skanks out of your rooms before I knock on your doors. I have to give them this lecture now, because after the concert, I won't see them again until morning. Drake, don't make me shower you in the morning. Get the smell of slut and booze off early. Jesus, Emmy, he yells after me. Why are you picking on me today? I stop at the door and spin around to glare at him. Just do it, Drake. He mutters something under his breath, and I feel a little bad about being so stern. But he's a grown-ass man. More often than not, I'm the one bathing him because he's either too drunk or too hungover to do it himself. The concert is almost over when I feel my phone vibrate. I pull it out of my back pocket and see that it's Demon Wing's manager. The guy loves me because I take care of all the things he should be taking care of. While he's at home sleeping in his nice big bed, I'm here busting my ass for my guys. Bringing the phone to my ear, I snap, "What do you want?" I walk away from the stage so I can hear him over the band. Rich Branson chuckles, making me want to slap his handsome face. Who peed in your Cheerios? I'm in a pissy mood, I inform him, not sure why I'm being such a bitch this evening. He should be used to my attitude by now. I hate the guy. What do you want? The usual. World domination, billions of dollars, and a band that makes me look good. I have several of that last one. I roll my eyes. Demon's Wings is the hottest band he manages. They do more than make him look good. They make people think he's a genius for discovering them. Nick said he wanted to take the summer off. I'm just letting you know that I pushed the Otherworld Demon's Wings tour back to September. That surprises me. Nick hadn't mentioned anything about taking the summer off. Why wouldn't he have told me? I shoot a glare behind me, wishing I could demand some answers from Nick. That will have to wait. Since the summer tour is being pushed back, we only have a few more weeks left of touring the Gulf Coast. Okay, I tell Rich, send me the new itinerary. I'll make sure that everything gets taken care of. I know you will. That's why I love you so much, Princess. You make my life so easy. I grit my teeth. Don't call me Princess. I practically yell and end the call. I so don't like that prick. And I loathe being called Princess. The fucker knows that, but still makes sure to call me that at every available opportunity. Nick's voice snaps me out of my hatred for Rich, and I turn my attention back to my guys on stage. Nick's voice drives the female population crazy. The huskiness mixed with gravel and seduction is a caress to that dark place between a woman's legs. I'm nowhere near immune to it, and find myself letting my desire show as I stand there, watching the band perform. When one of the sound techs accidentally bumps into me, I quickly snap out of my desire haze and get busy. I can't let anyone see how Nick affects me. I know he doesn't feel the same way. To him and the rest of the guys, I'm like their little sister. They would lay down their lives for me, just as I would for them. And when it comes to Nick, I'm just the little girl that he spent the last 17 years of his life taking care of. I'm ignoring my feelings because I know I'm not what he wants. His happiness is more important than my own. Lips trembling, I make sure not to listen to him sing any more that night. Chapter 3. I have never been a fan of vomit. I've cleaned up more than my share over the years. My mother's mostly. In recent years, it's been the guys. Drake's, usually. But my own? I've only had to do that a few times in my lifetime. This morning happens to be one of those times. I know I'm not going to make it as soon as I turn over in bed. My stomach gives me a 2-second warning before I attempt to jump out of bed. I get to the end of the mattress before I purge all of the meager meal I forced down the day before. The smell is worse than the sight of it. As soon as I have a small hold on my gag reflex, I rush to the toilet so I can finish. My hair gets in my way, and I get puke in it before I can push it out of my face. The smell makes me gag, and I vomit until I'm left dry heaving. Tears stream down my face. My brow is sweaty, and my stomach is still rolling. I pray to every god I know of and beg for mercy. None comes. Instead, I have to force myself to stand on my unsteady legs and hold my mouth under the faucet until I remove the taste of bile. I want a shower, but I have to clean up the mess in the bathroom first. When I finally climb from the shower, I feel somewhat better. I'm running behind, so I have to leave my hair wet and rush to pull on clothes before waking the guys. I'm not surprised to find that Shane is still covered in girls. The heavy smell of sex assaults me when I open his hotel room door. It makes my stomach protest, but I swallow the rising bile and drag him out from under the 3 girls. My hand fists his hair, and I yank until he's on his feet. Get the fuck in the shower, I command. Not in the mood to have to deal with sluts after the morning I've already had. I had to give your fucking brother a lecture about this shit, but it's you this morning. Emmy, he protests when I push him into the walk-in shower and turn the cold water on full blast. Fuck. Downstairs in 10 minutes, I bark before slamming the bathroom door behind me. The sluts on the bed are waking up, and I shoot them disgusted glares. Get your shit and get out. You have 2 minutes before security tosses you out, dressed or naked. I don't give a fuck. Jesse's still asleep when I walk into his room. The smell of sex still lingers in the room, but at least he's alone in bed. I don't even try to rouse him gently. I just fill a glass with water, and dump it on his head. I'm up, he gasps. Good, I snap, and leave him to get ready. I'm surprised to find that Nick is already awake. When I put my keycard in his door, it opens. He's already dressed. His thick hair is styled and everything. Like always, the sight of him makes me ache in places I shouldn't be aching. He gives me a concerned frown. Emmy, feeling okay, baby girl? Rushing around has made me dizzy, and my stomach still protests. But I'm not in the mood to argue with him. If he knows that I'm sick, he'll insist that I go to a doctor. Not going to happen. Thanks for being up early, I mutter. He trails off when I turn to leave. I ignore him as I step into the elevator and go one floor up. Drake's room stinks of sweat, booze, and sex. But thankfully the girl, or possibly even girls considering the number of condom wrappers on the floor beside the bed, is gone. He's already somewhat awake when I walk in. Of course, that's because his head is in the toilet. The sound of him puking makes my own gag reflex overreact, and I dry heave in the sink. Green bile is all that I can produce, and I turn on the tap so I can swallow a few mouthfuls. At least now I have something to come up. Drake's sweaty hand touches my back. He croaks, and I glance down at him, wiping sweat off my upper lip. You okay? I give him a weak smile. Guess we both had a rough morning, I mumble. He groans as he gets to his feet. He's butt naked, but neither of us care. I've seen every inch of my guys. None of us are shy about our body parts. No one bats an eye when we see each other naked. Okay, maybe I bat an eye or two when I see Nick naked. But I would never let them know. You never get sick. I shrug. I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. Take a shower, okay? He nods, and I turn to leave. Brush your teeth, I remind him. 10 minutes later, they're seated on the long sofa in the conference room. A buffet of breakfast foods has already been set out in front of them. I try to breathe through my mouth to keep from being too overcome with the smells. Normally, I would make everyone a plate of food and a cup of coffee. But this morning, I don't think I can deal with that and not throw up. Thankfully, none of them seem to care that I'm not taking care of their needs. The reporter from Rock America magazine is already asking them questions. Skinny with thick glasses and a nasal voice that grates down my spine with each word that comes out of his twisted mouth. I wonder how this guy became such a talked-about journalist in the rock community. Probably had a daddy that was a big deal. That's how. I couldn't have cared less. The man wants to know what every Demon Wings fan wants to know. How did they meet? What's the significance of the band's name? What are their plans for the summer? When is there going to be a new album? Like they've always done, they don't answer the man's first two questions. No one knows where they came from, or what their lives were like before they got famous. It's mostly to protect me, so I don't have to relive my unpleasant childhood, even if theirs hadn't been so happy. They go into detail about the summer and the new material that Nick's been working on for their next album. An hour later, the guy stands to leave. After shaking everyone's hands, he turns to me. So, how do you like working for Demon's Wings? Emmy isn't the hired help, Jesse informs the guy, even though we all know that he already knew. Your interview is over. The warning is plain and clear in the drummer's voice, and the reporter makes his escape. Jesse can be a hothead, easy to anger at times, and quick to throw a punch. I've had to bail his ass out of jail a few times for fighting. I wait a few moments to make sure that the guy is gone before I turn to face them. I want to say I'm sorry for being a bitch yesterday and this morning, I say, remorse thick in my voice. I don't act like a bitch to my guys that often. Honestly, I can be a queen bitch when I have to be, but not to them. Sit down, Em, Jesse commands. When I just stand there, he grasps my hand and pulls me down on the sofa between Nick and him. We need to talk. I bite my lip, scared that they're going to make me go to the doctor or yell at me. Of the two, I think I'd rather they yell. but either one would make me cry. Nick wraps his arm around my shoulders, his fingers playing with the ends of my still damp hair. It's soothing, and just being this close to him makes me feel safe and loved. Emmy, we can see that you're getting burned out. It's okay. We all are. That's why we're going to take the summer off. I roll my eyes at him. I already knew that you planned on taking the summer off. He furrows his eyebrows. Rich called me last night, I add. We're touring with Axton and Otherworld starting in September. Fucking Rich, Jesse grumbles. We wanted to surprise you. Anyway, we were thinking of renting a house somewhere, but we thought you might want to pick where. Nick smiles down at me, that smile that always makes my heart ache for things I know I can never have. Anywhere in the world you want, Em. Pick a place. Find us a house. And that's where we'll spend our summer. My chin trembles. I'm relieved that Drake hadn't ratted me out to the others, and they didn't insist I see a doctor. So why am I suddenly sobbing? Chapter 4. One more concert, and then it's back on the road. Do you know how hard it is to hide throwing up when you're on a tour bus? It's near impossible. But somehow I do it. For the next 3 weeks, I keep it from them. With the wake-up calls I get every morning where I have to rush to the onboard bathroom, I've never been so grateful for the guys sleeping so soundly. After retching every morning, I'm usually able to make it through the rest of the day without a repeat performance. Still, my stomach rolls all day long, and I'm losing weight because I can't force myself to eat. That is something that they all pick up on, even Drake in his almost constant drunken state. They start watching me closer, and I know they're about to gang up on me. And really, I'm more worried about finding out what's wrong with me than an actual trip to the doctor right now. I'm putting it off as long as possible. I find us a house online. It's perfect. Private beach. No one for miles. And if the guys get restless, they only have to drive 45 minutes to find a club or bar. The price for the house for the entire summer makes my stomach clench. Even after all these years and the lifestyle we lead, I feel sick having to spend so much money. But it doesn't even put a dent in our wallets now. Not even my own wallet. Rich pays me well for taking care of my guys, something I would have done for free. But Nick and Jesse made him put me on his payroll when I was 18. I haven't had any need to touch the money that I earn. If there's something the guys think I might want, they just buy it for me. If I need something, they push their credit cards into my hand and make sure I use them. By the time all the details are taken care of, there are only a few days left until the end of the tour. One more stop, 2 more concerts, and then we'll be on a plane. I'm excited. We've never had a whole summer off. I'll get to sleep in for 3 months. That thought alone makes me sigh. I think you should see a doctor. My head snaps up at the sound of Nick's voice. He and Jesse have been sitting at the back of the bus with me, watching TV for the last hour, and I'm feeling better after my morning of vomit-filled fun. No. He's sitting right beside me, so I don't have time to move when he grabs me and pulls me onto his lap. Yes, Emmy. You are nothing but bones now. You aren't eating, and I heard you this morning in the bathroom. You sleep all the time, and you keep having bitchy mood swings. Something's wrong. I don't want to go to the doctor. Okay, maybe I do. I'm just scared that there's something seriously wrong with me, like an ulcer. I've never been this sick in my life. It takes all I have to keep water down these days. But I'm still terrified of doctors. We'll go with you, Em, Jesse promises, twirling a drumstick around his fingers. We won't let them hurt you. I take a harder look at him. He's really worried about me. Those ever-changing eyes of his have settled into a glassy amber brown, and his forehead is creased with stress from worrying about me. I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought he was close to tears. I couldn't handle that. So I give in. Okay, I whisper. I'll find a doctor when we get to the beach house. They both seem to relax a little. Whatever it is, we'll get through it. That's when I realize that Jesse thinks that something bad is wrong with me. I push off Nick and climb onto the drummer's lap. His arms circle around me, and I let him hold me. No one says a word as we drive through the night, my closeness seeming to soothe something in the big man. I wake with a warm body wrapped around me. It isn't unusual for me to sleep in the same bed with one of the guys. When you live on a bus, you sleep where you can. I can tell by the hot breath on the back of my neck that it's Jesse. He's always been a mouth breather. Yawning, I move until I'm sitting up. He doesn't even move. His arms fall back on the sofa beside him, and I stand, trying to stretch some of the kinks from my tired muscles. When I glance down at my friend, my heart melts a little. He, like the rest of my guys, loves me more than anything in the world, and I love him just as much. Smiling, I pick up a throw from the chair against the opposite wall and drape it over him before bending to brush a kiss over his brow. The bus is still moving, and I know I should get some more sleep. There won't be time for a nap once we get to Galveston. It will be nothing but rushing from the moment we stop. My stomach finally cooperates with me, and I don't have to fight the urge to vomit. I walk through the sleeping quarters, where the 2 sets of bunk beds are pressed against opposite walls. Shane is muttering in his sleep, his favorite Gibson clutched in his arms like a child with a stuffed animal. On the bottom bunk, his brother is still out of it. I check to make sure he doesn't have an open bottle of liquor, and then pull the covers up over Drake's bare back. I worry about Drake the most. No one ever talks about his reasons for needing to drink away the past. We all know what his demons are. We all know that until he's ready, there's nothing we can do but watch over him. The 2 times that we'd talked him into rehab didn't end well. I find Nick asleep in my usual place at the front of the bus. He's lying on his stomach, hugging my pillow tight, and my favorite blanket over his waist. Why is he sleeping here? He hates the front of the bus because the windows aren't as tinted and they let in too much light during the day. But there he is, drooling all over my pillow and hogging my couch. With a sigh, I push at his shoulders, making him turn over so I can climb in beside him. He doesn't even protest as I snuggle close to his naked chest and rest my head on his shoulder. I inhale his clean, completely unique Nick smell and close my eyes. This is as close to paradise as I'll ever get. Soft, warm lips brush across my forehead, and his strong arms wrap around me, pulling me closer against his chest. "You don't know how happy you just made me," he mumbles. But I'm already half asleep, safe in the arms of the man who owns me, body and soul. Chapter 5. Tonight is the last concert. I'm anxious to get it over with. I feel like death warmed over, and I've been the biggest bitch with mood swings that border on bipolar today. After looking all my symptoms up online, I convince myself that I have a brain tumor. It's only added to my already raging anxiety. My guys are all out on stage with lights bouncing and flashing along to the beat of the music. The crowd is still going crazy. At the opening of the concert, Nick had promised them all one of the new songs that he's been working on, one that he swears will be on their next album. It surprises the hell out of me and the rest of the guys. If Rich was here, he'd have a coronary, but I'd be okay with that happening. I stand just out of sight on the edge of the stage, torturing myself by watching girls throw their panties and bras at Nick. He's handling it all like he usually does, with a grin and seductive looks at the audience. I just want this night to be over. Someone bumps their shoulder against mine. I turn and glare at the person, ready to bite their head off and spit down their throat. Then I see who it is and roll my eyes. "Hey, what the hell are you doing here?" Axon Cage shrugs his lean shoulders. I notice a new tattoo on the inside of his left wrist. Trying not to gag when I see that it says Bree, I say, "So, you two are official?" I nod my head at his wrist and he shrugs again. "Still working on it," he explains. He knows I'm not the biggest fan of Gabriella Moretti. I hate the bitch, actually. Little Miss Goody-Goody. She dislikes me just as much, if not more. Shane says it's because we're too much alike. I think it's because the hoe bag slept with Nick when we were touring in Australia, and then took great pleasure telling me all about it. Of course, that had been more than a year ago, and now she's with Axton. At least, on and off again. I was in the area. Axton finally answers my original question. Actually, I was bored as hell in California and thought I would see what kind of trouble I could get into with your dumbass friends. By all means, get into all the trouble your little heart desires, but we have a plane to catch first thing in the morning. Make me late for my vacation, and they will be scraping your entrails from the sidewalk. His arm wraps around my waist, and I lean into him. Ah, come on, beautiful. You know you want to cause some trouble with me. He rubs his nose with mine, making me giggle. You love me. Admit it. I snort. I hate you. Even with my feelings for Nick, Axton Cage can make me breathless, so I let him kiss me. He tastes of mint and a hint of coffee. My lips tingle, and I open my mouth just a little to let him taste me. When he steps back a little, I sigh. Okay, so I'm not immune. But then I doubt that any woman with a working libido could be. He chuckles and releases me. Touring with you guys is gonna be so much fun. I grimace. Is the bitch troll coming? It is a big possibility. Depends on how things are going with her family, though. Alexis is having a hard time right now. My heart clenches a little at the thought of Gabriella's cousin, Alexis. The woman had been through a lot over the past year or so. She was in a car wreck that had nearly destroyed her. But she was tough and fought to walk again. Then she had a huge ordeal with her boyfriend, which the tabloids went crazy over because of Jared Giordano and his past relationship with his brother's wife. How is she? I ask, because while I hate Gabriella, I had connected with Alexis the few times I met her. She's pregnant. Shocked is an understatement. After the accident, doctors had told Alexis that she would never have a baby. How is that even possible? Axton shrugs. I'm not really sure. But Bree says that they did an ultrasound, and it seems like they only took out part of her uterus. You can imagine how happy and stressed the girl is. Her doctors have her on bed rest because she started bleeding a little last week. Bree doesn't want to leave her. Well, give her my best. I'm really happy for her. I can hear the crowd is quieting down, and I turn and find Nick sitting on a stool. Drake pulls one up too, and takes out his acoustic guitar. Okay, like I promised, this is the song I've been slaving over for the last few weeks. Hope you guys like it. Is it me? Or does he seem a little nervous? That's crazy, though. Nick's been singing his own songs since Demon's Wing's second album. He had written every song, and it went platinum in less than a week. The record company had given him carte blanche ever since. There's no reason for him to be nervous about his songs. Demon's Wings isn't known for love songs. That's not to say that some of their hits aren't about love, but normally those songs are more about sex than real love. So you can understand how surprised I am when Nick starts singing. I think my heart is going to shatter. Nick writes from experience. There's a lot of his childhood in his songs. His, the guys, mine. His music has always been close to all of us. The dark, the pain, the drugs, and even the beatings. But when Nick starts singing about how his heart had been cold for so long, but now there's an ember burning there, catching fire, bringing him back to life, I think I'm about to die. Nick is in love? I don't think I can handle that. No. No, I know I can't handle that. He can screw around all he wants. He can have all the one-night stands, the meaningless sex with random strangers. I'm able to deal with that. Okay, so I'm hanging on by my fingernails trying to deal with that. But if Nick's in love, it will destroy me. I couldn't handle him with some skank, and knowing that his heart belongs to that skank, I sway. Axton's arms come around me, steadying me. Easy there, babe. The bile rises in the back of my throat. Turning quickly, I run. I know I won't make it to a bathroom, so I desperately look for a trash can. Thankfully, one is close, or I would have had to clean up after myself again. I empty my stomach. Not that there's much in there anyway. Thankfully, my hair is pulled into a ponytail. A warm hand rubs my back soothingly. Tears stream down my cheeks. Up until now, I had thought that I was dying. Now I hoped I would. Jesus Christ, Axton mutters. You okay, babe? I just want to lie down, I whisper. I haven't been feeling well lately. Come on, he urges. I'll take you back to your hotel. The world is spinning. As soon as the car pulls up in front of the hotel where we're staying, I know I'm in trouble. Big trouble. I throw open the door and retch until I think my stomach is going to come out my mouth. My body is soaked in sweat, and I don't know if I can walk without falling on my face. Axton mutters a string of vile curses and barks something at the doorman who's holding the door open for me. It takes me a second to register that the poor guy is pushing me back into Axton's rental and shutting the door. I barely have the energy to open my eyes as I watch the rocker punch in something on the GPS, and then he's hauling ass. The tires screech as he pulls into traffic. Horns honk angrily behind us, but I don't look back. At the speed we're going, he's going to get pulled over, but he just hits the hazard lights and pushes down on the horn as he weaves in and out of traffic. Hold on, Em, he mutters. I can't answer. The world is blurry now. By the time he slams to a stop in front of the ER, I'm barely functioning. I feel him lift me out of the car, knowing that he's practically running with me in his arms. His chest rumbles when he shouts, but I can't focus enough to make out what he's saying. The coolness of a bed against my back rouses me enough to open my eyes for just a moment. I'm met with bright lights and the smell of antiseptic. Severe dehydration, a male voice says. How long has she been throwing up? No idea. Axton sounds stressed. Wait here, the voice commands. I feel myself floating, assuming it's the medical team pushing the bed away. A needle is stabbed into my arm, but I don't have the energy to so much as whimper. Emmy, the male voice says my name in a commanding tone. We're giving you fluids. There's another needle in my arm. Just taking some blood, dear. A female voice this time. It's gentle and kind. I've never had another female speak so nicely to me. If I had the fluids to spare, I would have cried. The man with the commanding voice has his hand on my wrist. He holds it there for several long minutes. By the time the fluids that they pump into me are starting to revive me, I blink slowly. I hate doctors, I whisper. The doctor, a disturbingly good-looking man with short dark hair and big chocolate eyes, grins at me. That's too bad. I'm actually a decent guy. Despite how incredibly horrible I feel, a smile teases my lips. I'll take your word on that. The doctor releases my arm. You are very sick, young woman. How long have you been throwing up? My mind is still foggy, but I try to determine how long it had been. A month, I think. The doctor's eyes widen. Have you seen a doctor before now? I shake my head and see him shake his exceptionally cute head in exasperation. No wonder you were so dehydrated. Have you been able to eat at all? Not really. What about fluids? Water? Gatorade? Again, another shake of my head. He sighs. You really do hate doctors, if you've been this sick and refuse to seek help, huh? It's a good thing your boyfriend brought you in when he did. Any longer, and you could have died from dehydration. Boyfriend? Who the hell is my boyfriend? Is this doctor crazy? If my guys even thought I had a boyfriend, they would go apeshit. A man has to have more balls than brains if he thinks any member of Demon's Wings would let him near me. You'd think I'm 16 instead of 21 when it comes to how they act when a guy looks twice at me. The scary guy with the tattoos. He nods over his shoulder, and I see Axton standing by the door, trying to peek in. He has his phone to his ear and is frowning. Another smile finds my lips. Ax isn't my boyfriend. My guys would so break his legs if they even thought he was. Your guys? The doctor cocks an eyebrow at that. Never mind, I mutter. It's hard to explain my guys, and I don't have the energy to even try. My eyes start to feel heavy. Hurry up and make me better so I can get back to the hotel. I want to go to sleep. You aren't going anywhere until at least tomorrow, Em. We have to run some tests, get more fluids in you, and maybe, that's a big maybe, you'll get to go home in the morning. Until then, let me get your blood work back and find you a room. My head jerks up. But I have a plane to catch to Florida in the morning. I'm going on vacation. Again, that damned raised brow. By the looks of it, you are long overdue for a vacation, sweetheart. Now relax. Your heart monitor is going crazy. That's when I feel the sticky pads on my chest and notice the constant beep, beep, beeping in the background. Axton comes into the room. I can't get anyone to answer their phones, he growls. That damn concert should already be over. I let out a humorless laugh. You're a rock star, Axton. What's the first thing you want to do when you get off the stage, high on your own ego? The expression on his face tells me what the answer is. Don't worry about it. They'll go back to the hotel and have a hell of a night. When they wake up at noon and wonder why I haven't come to drag their asses out of bed, they'll come looking for me. His eyes darken with anger. So you're just an afterthought? I shrug my shoulders. After a concert, normally. It doesn't bother me. Much. I'm not going to complain. I know that they love me. I glance at the doctor. How about checking on those tests? The doctor glances at Axton. Is she always this bossy? He snorts. If you knew the guys she has to take care of on a daily basis, you'd understand you're getting the nice version of bossy. Chapter 6. The doctor is taking his time. With the continued fluids rushing into my system, I'm starting to feel better than I have in a long time. My stomach is still rolling, though. I want to know what's taking the doctor so long, and I'm worried that it's something beyond my wildest imagination. Axton is still trying to call the guys, but so far hasn't been able to reach any of them. A nurse had told me he needed to go outside to use a cell phone, and I haven't seen him in more than 10 minutes. My butt's going numb from sitting for a solid hour without moving. Even though I desperately want a nap, I can't bring myself to relax enough to do so. The door to my exam room opens, and in walks the doctor. There's a tech pushing a huge machine behind him, and I wonder what the hell they're going to do to me. Seeing the fear in my eyes, the doctor is quick to explain. It's okay. This is just for the ultrasound. Why do I need an ultrasound? Isn't that for pregnant women? The doctor nodded. It's also used for exploratory purposes. After receiving your blood results, I think we have found a reason for your symptoms. My blood freezes in my veins. He knows what's wrong with me. I'm terrified of the answer, but need to know. So, what's the matter? What's wrong with me? Nothing that won't resolve itself in a few weeks. He smiles. It seems that you are pregnant. I'm hallucinating. He didn't just say that I was pregnant. No. I shake my head frantically. That can't be it. Check again. The tests are wrong. The doctor frowns at my reaction, but speaks in a soothing voice. Let's do an ultrasound. That way we can determine if the blood work is wrong. And if it isn't, we should be able to give you a due date. The heart monitor attached to my chest goes berserk. My heart's racing with fear, dread, and anxiety. It has to be wrong. It just has to be. Please, let it be wrong. Because if it isn't, my life with the guys will be destroyed. They'll never trust me again. Okay. It comes out in a wobbly voice, and there's nothing I can do about it. The tech comes over to the right side of the bed and smiles down at me while the doctor dims the lights. "When was your last period?" she asks softly. She's pretty. Probably in her late 30s. There's a huge rock on her ring finger and a slight bump under her scrubs, telling me that she's pregnant also. I try to remember when my last period was. I'm not the most regular of women, and I haven't really cared about tracking it. My life is so busy that when it shows up, I just shrug and go on with my life. If it's late, it's not a big deal. Finally, I give up. I've never been regular, I tell her honestly. I can't remember when I last had one. She nods. That's okay. After typing something into the machine, she pulls up my shirt and tugs my jeans and panties down slightly. The gel she puts on my belly is surprisingly warm. Then she presses a wand into my lower abdomen, and I grimace in pain. I feel bloated and uncomfortable as she moves the wand around. I watch her closely, switching my gaze from what she's doing to my body and what she's doing on the screen. The doctor watches over her shoulder, nodding. Okay, the tech says with a small smile. We can see a heartbeat. Arms, legs, spine looks good. She twists a knob and the sound of galloping fills the room. Strong heartbeat. What do you think, doctor? Looks like she's right at 18 weeks. Can you tell the sex? I tune them out for a moment, my gaze captivated by the screen. The outline of a tiny being stares back at me. A waving hand, a kicking foot. Oxygen catches in my chest and I can't breathe. Somewhere deep inside of my chest, my heart melts, and I fall head over heels in love with the creature on the screen. Well, the doctor and tech chuckle. My head moves in the direction. What? I whisper. Your baby wants to make sure you know just what it is. The doctor touches the screen, and I see that the two legs are spread apart. Congratulations, you're having a girl. Tears burn my eyes, and I blink rapidly to keep them at bay. A girl, I breathe. The tech takes a few more pictures, then prints one and hands it to me. For your baby book, baby's first picture. She smiles and leaves the room without the machine. Well, you are very much pregnant, Em. The doctor, who I'm sure has told me his name, but I've been too out of it to remember, gives me a questioning look. 18 weeks and 3 days by the measurements. That gives you a due date of November 6th. He scribbles something on the iPad he has in his hands. Is she okay? I can't help but think of how sick I've been over the last month. Did I hurt her? He's quick to reassure me. No, the amniotic fluid is perfect, so your dehydration didn't affect the baby. It's probably why you were so sick, though. Everything you were able to take in was going straight to her. Her heart rate is good. She's moving around. You don't feel it? My hand touches my lower stomach. There really is a little being inside of me. A tear escapes my eye and trails down my cheek. No, I whisper. Is that normal? Every woman is different. Some don't feel the baby until well into the 5th month. Second-time mothers feel it sooner. You seem on schedule. So, how are you feeling emotionally about the baby? Your reaction when I told you about the blood work wasn't exactly... I shake my head. I was scared and still so terrified. I don't know if this is a nightmare or not, but seeing her... I clutch the ultrasound photo to my chest. That changed everything. It normally does. He pulls a chair over and sits beside me. Okay, so we've established that this is a shock, but now that you have seen her, are you happy? I snort. I'm not thrilled about this, doctor, but... I suck in a deep breath. But I'm not unhappy about it. if that makes sense.
Perfect sense.
He punches something into the iPad again.
Why was this such a surprise, Em? You don't have a boyfriend?
I shake my head. I've had sex a total of once in my life, I say honestly. And the guy, he doesn't even remember it happened. When I tell him that I'm pregnant, I close my eyes. He's going to go crazy.
Is he still a part of your life?
He's part of my everything. I glare at the opposite wall. I don't know what I'm going to do. The doctor opens his mouth to say something, but suddenly the door to the exam room slams open, and in storms all 4 of my guys. Before I can even register that news, Jesse's by my side, and Drake is pushing the doctor out of his way to get to me. Emmy! Jesse runs his hands over my hair, taking in my IV and heart monitor. He's pale, shaking, and there are tears in his big brown eyes. Are you okay? Tell me you're okay, Em.
We came as soon as we heard.
Drake clutches my hand.
I'm sorry we didn't get here sooner. What's wrong with her?
Nick stands at the foot of the bed, his attention on the doctor, staring at the 4 of them with his mouth gaping.
Is she going to be all right?
The doctor finally looks back at me and raises an eyebrow. I shake my head, not ready to tell any of them what was wrong with me, let alone that one of them is about to be called Daddy. He clears his throat.
She came in severely dehydrated. We aren't exactly sure what's going on. We're going to keep her overnight for observation.
Jesse turns his gaze on the doctor, and I feel sorry for the man. Jesse, with his bald head, tattoos, and bulky frame, is intimidating.
You don't know what's wrong with her?
The doctor shakes his head.
Then get off your ass and do some fucking tests.
Jesse, I take his hand and link our fingers together. Calm down. The doctor is doing all he can, and I'm already feeling much better. The fire in his eyes dims when he turns back to me.
I just want to know what's wrong,
he tells me in a softer tone than what he had used with the doctor.
We're getting her a bed now, and she will be moved soon. I suggest that you gentlemen go get some rest so you can see this young lady first thing in the morning.
4 pairs of eyes turn to glare at the poor doctor.
We aren't leaving,
they say in unison.
Emmy is ours. We're staying with her,
Shane informs him. The doctor leaves, annoyed and muttering under his breath. But I feel cherished, especially when Drake and Jesse gently squeeze me between the 2 of them in a hug.
I was so scared,
Jesse whispers against my hair.
Jesus, Em, you should have seen a doctor before now.
I clutch him tighter. It's nothing. I'm fine now.
It isn't nothing.
My head shoots up at the vehemence in Nick's tone. He's normally the calm one, the one that keeps his cool when the other 3 are ready to tear things apart. But as I watch, he shoves the doctor's chair so hard, it slides across the length of the room and crashes to its side when it hits the wall. His fingers rake through his thick, sandy brown hair, and he pulls on the ends like a demented person.
Axton said you were unconscious when he first got you here. Unconscious, Emmy. Do you not understand how serious this fucking is? Has it slipped your mind that people can die from dehydration?
He turns away and actually punches the wall. My heart shatters a little when I see how upset he is. For several minutes, we're all quiet, while Nick leans against the wall he has just punched, breathing hard. Drake tries to keep me calm, soothingly running his fingers through the ends of my hair, rubbing my back. Jesse just stands there holding my hand. Shane paces, which is his usual go-to when he's stressed. Nick. I whisper his name, unable to handle the distance between us now. I can't go to him. The IV and heart monitor have me trapped in the bed. I need him to hold me more than anyone else. He blows out a long, drawn-out sigh and turns to face me. His hands scrub across his cheeks. He's been crying. That's when I see the blood on his knuckles. Nick. I pull away from Jesse and Drake and hold my arms out for him, silently begging him to come to me. Drake moves out of the way as Nick crosses over to me. He sits on the edge of the bed, and I mold myself to him. My arms wrap around his neck and pull his head down to my chest. "I'm okay," I whisper against his ear, and he trembles. "I'm here." Strong arms tighten around me almost painfully. "I'm sorry, Emmy. I'm so sorry." I don't say anything, just rocking him against me while he cries. Chapter 7. Dull light filters through the plastic blinds covering the window. I groan at the disturbance to my sleep and turn on my side, away from the window, wanting nothing but to go back to sleep. The pain in my arm as I move causes me to open my eyes again. I can't lean on my arm because the IV line wouldn't allow it. The events of the previous evening come flooding back into my sleep-fogged mind, and without thinking, my hand covers my lower stomach. My baby girl is in there. I lift my head when I hear deep snores coming from the room. The nursing staff had been both aggravated and thrilled by my posse when I was put in my private room the night before. Some of them were Demon's Wings fans. Others were just in awe at having the rockers in the same building as them. Chairs were brought without having to be asked for, along with pillows and blankets. Now my guys are spread around the room, sleeping like the dead. With a happy smile on my lips, I reach for the hand that was lying so close to my own on the bed. Jesse actually jerks awake when I touch him. "Emmy?" "I'm still here," I assure him. He scrubs his hand over his face. "I need a coffee." "You and me both," Nick mutters from his chair to my right. He twists his neck right and left, trying to get the tension out of it. "I'll go find us some." He stands and drops a kiss on my forehead. "Need anything, baby girl?" Something cold and lemony? My mouth feels gooey. "You got it," he promises and kisses me again. I'm unable to take my eyes off of him until he's out of sight. Jesse shakes his head. "Idiots," he mutters under his breath. "Shut up, Jess." Damn him for seeing everything. "Just stating the obvious, Em." He stands, cracking his neck and back until he's able to move around with ease. "Wow, you look better. I haven't seen color in your cheeks in weeks." Drake and Shane are awake by the time Nick returns with coffee and a soft drink for me. The lemon-lime flavor of the soda is like heaven for my taste buds. And I gulp half of it before having to stop and belch. My guys laugh at me because I can belch with the best of them. A nurse with short gray hair walks in without knocking, a clipboard in one hand and a little machine pulled along behind her with the other. She shakes her head at my guys and weaves her way through them to get to me. "Looks like you get to go home, Miss Jameson." I let out a relieved sigh. Thank the gods. "Let me get your blood pressure and temperature, dear." She puts a cuff on my arm without the IV and a thermometer under my tongue. While she waits for my vitals to register, she glances around her. "You boys okay with the sight of blood?" "Yes, ma'am," Jesse assures the woman. "But what does that have to do with anything?" "I have to take out the IV in Miss Jameson's arm. If you can't handle the sight of blood, then I suggest you fellows get out until she's all bandaged up." I shoot Shane a quick look. "Maybe you should go get some more coffee," I suggest. He doesn't have to be told twice. The guy can look at his own blood all day long, but anyone else's, and he tends to lose it. The nurse laughs as she pulls the cuff from my arm, writes a few things on her clipboard, and reaches for my arm with the IV. The thing's taped up nice and tight, and I can't help but whimper as the nurse pulls the tape off. She eases the needle from my arm and patches me up with a small bandage. "Okay, dear. These are the doctor's instructions. Follow up with your primary care doctor in the next week. Come back if you start feeling faint, unable to keep liquids down, or develop a high fever." She tears off the top sheet of paper and hands it over, along with a smaller piece of paper. "And a prescription for vitamins. My suggestion is to take them at bedtime because they tend to upset the stomach." "Vitamins?" Jesse frowns. "That's it? Just vitamins?" "There isn't much that we can give her.
the nurse tells him as she turns to him. Why the fuck not? Drake demands, standing beside the drummer. She's very sick. Guys, the nurse just laughs and I groan, knowing that shit is about to hit the fan. A baby doesn't exactly qualify as a serious illness, honey. What? Jesse. Drake. Fuck. Nick. Emmy? Jesse again. He's beside me in an instant. What the fuck is she talking about? A baby? His eyes are on fire with confused rage. I sigh and push the hair away from my face, needing to take charge of the situation. I had wanted to ease into telling them, but now, thanks to the nurse, it's time. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to tell them anything. Of course, they will want to know everything. I'm pregnant, I finally tell him, and watch as his dark eyes widen. His nostrils flare, and I'm reminded of a raging bull. Great. I glare at the nurse. The woman mutters a quick, "Excuse me," and moves the hell out of the way. Yes, it's easy to determine who my least favorite person in the world is, right then. How is that even possible? Drake demands. Despite the seriousness of the situation, I actually laugh at him. You mean you don't know how, Drake? He gives me a withering look, and I lose my smile. Don't try to be cute, Em. You know exactly what the fuck I mean. What's all the shouting about? Shane asks as he walks back into the room. Emmy is pregnant, Jesse snarls. How the fuck is that even possible? He demands, turning toward me, shock in his eyes. Yes, you can tell who the biological brothers are in the band. Who? My eyes zero in on Nick and his softly spoken question. What? Those ice blue eyes of his that have always been able to see to my very soul are on fire now. Who, Emmy? Who's the father? His gaze goes straight to Jesse. Or do I already know? What? I can't believe he'd think that Jesse... What the fuck, Nick? Jesse rages at his friend. You think I would? Have you lost your fucking mind? She might be hot, but I would never touch her. She's like my sister. I don't believe you. Nick's voice is ice cold, and I know then and there that he's beyond pissed. Nick only goes sub-zero when he's truly pissed. I'm not sure how or even why he's so angry. The rest of the guys are mad, sure, but not like Nick. I see the way you look at her. I see how she's always clinging to you. Nick. I freeze when his gaze turns to me. I can't breathe for a moment as I take in the large burning in his gorgeous eyes. He's never looked at me like that. Nick, Jesse isn't the father. Then who, Em? He crosses the room so quick, I don't have time to blink. He places his hands on the bed on either side of me and pushes his face so close I can actually taste the coffee on his breath. Who the fuck touched you? I can't speak. Can't form the words he needs me to say. How can I tell him when he's in this frame of mind? Why is he acting like this? This man who has watched over me almost all my life, who has sang me my own lullaby, who has loved me like a sister and treated me like I was so special. He's looking like he hates me right now, and I don't understand it. Drake pulled him back. Stop it, Nick. Can't you see that she's terrified of you right now? Just tell me who. Why? I cry. Why do you have to know so badly? So I can kill him, he bellows. Tears spill from my eyes. What's wrong with you, Nick? Why are you acting like this? Axton. He was sniffing around a few months ago. Was it him? I saw him with his hands all over you last night. He struggles to get free from Drake now, and I'm scared that if Drake loses his hold on him, he'll hit me. Was it him? No. Who? Jesse puts himself between me and Nick, but he faces me and grasps my hands. Tell him, Em. Tell him so he'll calm down. I shake my head. If I say it out loud, then that's it. I can't hide behind my walls anymore. Shame burns my face. Someone in this room, Nick demands. Is it? Yes, I whisper, and Jesse's head snaps back as if I've slapped him. His eyes meet mine, and I know he knows, so I lower mine back to the bed. Nick hears me. It's like he has supersonic hearing because I had barely even heard myself. Who, Em? Tell me who. His voice actually cracks. I swallow hard and blink away my tears, but I'm unable to contain them. Nick. Who? You! Chapter 8. If I tell you I violated someone I loved, would you believe me? It's true. I had taken something that wasn't meant for me. I took it and pretended like I hadn't. I took it and cherished every fucking second. I'm a bad person. I had taken advantage of my friend, of someone who spent his life making mine better. Nick had trusted me. I'm the one person in his life that he knew he could trust. If he couldn't, then there was no one else. And I have just destroyed that trust. 4 months ago, I had a moment of weakness. I was selfish. Up until today, this very second, I hadn't been sorry about it. I only ever let myself think about it when I'm alone in my hotel room. When my love and need for Nick overwhelms me to the point that I have no choice but to relive my stolen night with him. For once, we had arrived a day early, before the next show. I was glad because there was a storm brewing outside, and I hated being on the bus during a thunderstorm. Even at 21 years old, I was still terrified of thunder. I huddled under my blanket and tried to keep my mind off the growing rage of the storm outside, but it was no use. I grabbed my room key, along with the others, and ran from my room. The lights flickered as I ran the length of the corridor and opened the door to Nick's room. I knew I shouldn't, that I was chancing walking in on him with some groupie, but the thunder was just too much for me. When I opened the door to his room, I was surprised to find him alone. I even took a second to delight in the fact that he wasn't with some slut. The light from the bathroom was on, and the door was slightly ajar, casting a soft glow across the room. He was lying on his back with one hand supporting his head while the other stroked his hard cock. I sucked in a breath, getting my first look at Nick aroused. He was completely naked, and the long, broad length of him stretched just past his belly button. His balls, those perfectly round sacs, were tight as he continued to stroke his hand up and down his pulsing dick. My mouth went dry as I shamelessly watched. Finally, he slurred, and I realized that he was drunk. Finally what? I breathed, unable to find a stronger voice. You finally came to me. God, I've been aching for you all night. He sat up and held out the hand that wasn't stroking himself, something that he was still doing. His fingers wiggled, enticing me to come to him. Come here, baby. Without thinking, I went over to him and put my hand in his. With a little tug, he pulled me down beside him on the bed. Feel. Still holding my hand, he brought it to his cock and cupped my fingers around him. Do you feel how much I need you? Yes, I whispered, captivated by the sight of my fingers gliding up and down his engorged cock. I knew it was wrong. Nick was drunk and thought I was one of the groupies that had come to play with him. But in the instant that I touched that live wire, I knew that I didn't care. I wanted him, had wanted him for so long, and I loved him in a way that no one else ever would. It didn't matter that I was a virgin, or that he most likely wouldn't remember in the morning. I planned on being long gone from this bed by then anyway. The storm raging outside no longer mattered. It was far from my thoughts as I leaned in and kissed Nick. His groan was deep, sexy, and made me shiver as I felt his tongue skim across my bottom lip. So sweet. Never tasted anything this sweet before. He devoured my mouth, making me dizzy with need,
and stole my breath. My fingers knotted in his thick hair, needing to hold on as he began the wild ride that I had only ever dreamed about with this man. "Easy, baby." He chuckled in the rich, seductive way I love so much. "I'm not going anywhere." "I want you so much," I told him, unafraid of my true feelings in the darkness of his booze-fogged mind. "I need you, Nick."
"God, I need you too, baby." He cupped my face, seeming to memorize every inch of it. But I wondered if he was really seeing me. So beautiful. His lips brushed along my jaw, his wicked tongue skimming down my neck and sucking at the pulse frantically beating at the base. He took his time with me, stripped me carefully of my t-shirt and boy shorts. He licked every inch of the tattoo on my hip, nibbling on the demon's wings design that surrounded a black heart with all the guys' names inside of it in red. "Sexy as hell," he growled before turning me over so he could pay attention to the tattoo that took up most of my back. Dark wings of a demon made me appear to be one, followed by Gothic-style writing below that said, "Property of Demon's Wings." I felt his dick nudge me, skimming along the crack of my ass, and I spread my legs without hesitation. "You aren't ready for me to do that, baby. That virgin ass has to be tamed slowly, especially when I'm this hard. Never been this hard before, baby. Never. All for you." He nipped at my shoulder. I cried out from the pure pleasure the small pain caused deep between my legs. He turned me onto my back and attacked my lips once more, seeming lost in the taste of me. He cupped my small breasts in his big hand, causing me to blush. He was used to bigger boobs than mine. Nick was a breast man, and I knew that mine had never inspired him before, but he seemed to love them right now. His lips left mine and swallowed one breast almost whole as he sucked my nipple into his hot mouth. I cried out, loving the pulling sensation of him suckling me. His fingers tugged at my other nipple, not daring to leave it out of his ministrations. After a few minutes, he turned his mouth to my other breast, while his fingers trailed lower, skimming across my belly button ring and lower. When he reached my sex, he lifted his head and watched as his fingers parted my lips. A tortured groan escaped his mouth. "So wet for me." He seemed fascinated by the curls surrounding my pussy. It was waxed, except for the landing strip along my outer lips. From the way he gazed so intently at the auburn hair, I figured he liked it. "Do you taste as good as you smell, baby?" Before I could answer, he moved and put his mouth over my clit. I screamed as he sucked that hardened ball of nerves into his sinfully hot mouth. My back arched off the bed, and he sucked and sucked until I couldn't hold myself together anymore and came against his mouth. My release flooded my entrance, and he made a whimpering sound as he lapped up every last drop. When he raised his head, his face glistened with my arousal. Nick didn't bother to wipe it away as he returned to kissing me. The taste of me on his tongue was embarrassing at first, but then I got a full taste of it and moaned. He rolled onto his back and took me with him. "Tell me you're mine," he commanded. "I'm yours," I answered without hesitation. "All yours, Nick." "Take me inside of you, baby. Make me a part of you." If I had stopped to think about it, I might have suggested a condom. I was too far gone. Protection was the furthest thing from my mind as I slid down that cock. I bit my lip and swallowed back my cry of pain as he broke through the barrier of my virginity. He was panting by the time I sat down to the hilt. "So good. So fucking tight," he gritted out. His hands were on my hips, holding me steady. "Give me a second, beautiful. If you move right now, I'm going to embarrass myself and blow inside of you way too soon." I was glad to give him all the time he needed, because I was fighting to accommodate him. I leaned forward until my nipples skimmed across his chest and kissed him. His tongue curled around mine, and I felt my inner muscles melting, making the fit manageable. I started to ride him, but his hands tightened on my hips, forcing me to stay still. Not yet, he grunted. I'm too close.
Nick. I needed to move now. I was on fire for him again. Understanding what I needed, his thumb rubbed over my exposed clit. I cried out with the pure pleasure of it. Please, I begged him. Please, I'm close. He eased up his hold on my hips, and I hesitantly rocked back and forth. My inner muscles tightened as my release neared. His thumb rubbed in fast circles over my clit, rushing me toward the edge of a cliff. Nick! I couldn't hold on any longer. Fuck! Nick!
Baby.
His back arched as he emptied deep inside of me. I fell against his heaving chest, trying to catch my breath. His arms tightened around my back, and he kissed my shoulder.
Amazing,
he mumbled, half asleep. I smiled against his sweat-soaked chest in total agreement. By the time I caught my breath, Nick was asleep. Hating to leave, but knowing I couldn't stay, I climbed off of him. He mumbled something unintelligible as he rolled away from me. I quickly dressed and left him. The next day, when he had acted like my same old Nick, I knew he hadn't remembered anything. And while part of me had died a little inside, a bigger part was relieved. I couldn't handle it if he suddenly started treating me differently because of a spontaneous moment where I was too weak. Chapter 9. Now, as I sit in a hospital gown, staring at the man I love after screaming that he's the father of my child, I can't help the shame that consumes me. I had taken advantage of someone I love, the only man who could ever own me so completely. Tears pour down my face, and I can't help the small sob that escapes me. All of the rage seems to evaporate from Nick. He goes slack in Drake's arms, causing the big man to almost drop him.
What?
He whispers. You, Nick, I sob. You are the father.
No,
He shakes his head.
No.
My heart breaks a little more, because I know that he would never have been my lover if he hadn't been drunk, if he hadn't thought I was someone else. Gods, I'm a despicable person, no better than some rapist taking advantage of a drugged girl. I had taken his will to say no. I know that Nick would have screamed no had he known that I was the one he was having sex with that night. I scrub at my face, hating my tears. Yes, Nick.
It was a dream. I dreamed that.
He jerks away from Drake, pushes Jesse out of his way, and falls on his knees beside me.
Right?
Refusing to meet his eyes, I shake my head. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry I took advantage of you. Please. Please don't hate me. The last part comes out as a broken whisper. The room is so quiet, I think maybe the others have left us, and I just hadn't noticed. But when Jesse starts snickering, and the brothers soon join in, I know that I'm not that lucky. I turn my coldest glare on them. This is not funny. I practically raped him. Now it's Nick's turn to snicker, and I gape at him, unable to understand how this is the least bit humorous. When he sees how upset I truly am, he stops laughing at me and shakes his head.
Come on, Em. There is no way that you took advantage of me. And it isn't rape when it's consensual, baby.
You didn't know it was me. You thought I was one of those slut groupies. More tears start to pour down my face. His eyes narrow on me.
The fuck you say? I might have been drunk, but I knew who you were, Emmy. I've been dreaming about it for a lot longer than I should. That's why, when I woke up the next morning, I just thought it was a dream. A wet dream, sure, but still, just a dream.
The other guys make a noise, and Jesse gives Nick a pointed glare.
Too much info, dude. Too much info. We don't need to know that shit.
His words leave me in shock. Deep in my heart, I feel the walls I had built around it crumble a little. Nick had known it was me. That night, that beautiful night that had been haunting me for months, was him making love to me, not one of the countless sluts. I can't form words. My mouth and brain don't know how to cooperate. I just sit there in that hospital bed and stare wide-eyed at the father of my child. Emmy. The door opens, cutting off whatever he was about to say. A nurse comes in, pushing a wheelchair in front of her. She doesn't look happy. From the permanent frown lines around her lips and eyes, I figure this woman rarely laughs in her 50-odd years of life.
Well, since all the shouting has stopped, I thought it was safe to come in without a fear of a loss of limb. Do you need help dressing, Miss Jameson?
I shake my head, and she turns her hard eyes on my guys.
I suggest pulling your car around to the main entrance so we can get the young lady home.
Shane grimaces.
I'll go hail a cab.
I give him a watery smile. Thanks. The nurse, I've dubbed her Grumpy because she reminds me of the dwarf from Snow White with her gray hair and short stature, shoos the others out of the room.
She needs to get dressed. I don't care what you are to her. She is not changing clothes with a lot of you in here.
Nick glares at the little old woman, and I know he's about to snarl at her, so I take his hand and give it a small squeeze. It's okay. I'll be out in a few minutes. Jesse puts his hand on Nick's shoulder.
Let's go, man. There's plenty of time to talk later. She isn't going anywhere.
Shoulders tense. Nick follows Drake out the door with Jesse right behind him. Jesse pauses and glances back at me.
We'll be right out here, okay?
I nod and wait until the door is closed behind them before reaching for the clothes that I had worn the night before. They're folded neatly in the little dresser that also doubles as a bedside table. The nurse helps me because I'm still a little shaky on my legs.
You need lots of rest, dear.
The harshness in Grumpy's voice is gone now. I'm leaving for vacation today. I plan on doing nothing more than lying on the beach in the warm sun. The nurse nods.
Just not too much sun. That's not good for the baby.
I stumble, realizing I have no clue what's good and what isn't for my baby. Fresh tears prick my eyes. I don't want to hurt my baby girl in any way, ever. After the childhood I'd had, where my mother was a monster to me, I vow to make sure that my child only knows love and devotion. I pull the picture the tech had given me the night before out of my jeans pocket, where I'd hidden it so the guys wouldn't see, and smooth the edges of the picture.
There are countless websites that you can visit to find out the do's and don'ts of pregnancy at every stage.
The nurse suggests as she helps me into the wheelchair. Somehow she manages to hold the door open and will me through without any mishap. I pull out my cell and open up the internet, already typing keywords in the search engine, so I'll have them to look at later. The guys are leaning against the wall when we come out. Jesse frowns at me when he sees that my phone is out.
Fuck no. You are going to rest, not work.
He snatches the phone from my hands before I can say anything and turns it off. But I wasn't...
What's that?
Nick nods to the picture I have clutched in my hand. I offer it to Nick as the guys fall into step on either side of me while the nurse pushes me toward the elevator. It's an ultrasound picture of the baby. I bite my lip as he reaches for the glossy picture with a slightly trembling hand. As he looks down at the first picture of our child, I watch him closely. He's pale, those ice blue eyes of his glassy, but I see the tiniest of smiles tilt his lips as he gazes down at the picture in his big hands. Beautiful, he whispers. Everyone is quiet as we ride down on the elevator. Jesse stands to my left, his fingers rubbing soothingly at my neck while Drake leans his head back against the wall of the elevator and closes his eyes. Nick seems engrossed with the picture of his child as he continues to gaze down at it. When the nurse pushes me outside, Shane already has 2 cabs waiting for us. He holds the door of the first one open for me. As if I was an invalid, Nick steps forward as I start to stand and lifts me, placing me in the cab gently, before sliding in beside me. Drake opens the door and gets in on my other side, leaving Shane and Jesse to take the second cab.
The drive to the hotel seems like it takes forever, because it hadn't taken Axton that long to get me to the emergency room the night before. I wondered just how fast he'd been driving. I shook my head at the thought. "What?" Drake asks. "Nothing." I know better than to voice my thoughts. My guys are overbearingly protective and would twist Axton like a pretzel if they found out that he'd been driving like he was in the Indianapolis 500 while I was in the same vehicle. It probably won't even matter to them that I'd been half unconscious at the time either. But thinking of the rocker's driving skills makes me wonder what happened to him. I hadn't seen him since before the guys arrived the night before. "Where is Axton, anyway?" Nick shrugs. "Don't know. Don't care." Drake sighs. "He got a call from Gabriella and said he was heading back to California. Said to tell you he hopes you feel better soon and to call him when you're up to it." Oh. I wonder if Gabriella had called because something was wrong with Alexis. I want to text him to ask, but can't because Jesse still has my cell. The look on his face tells me that asking Nick if I could use his will only get me into trouble. So I clench my hands together and sigh. Chapter 10. It's not easy, but somehow I get all 5 of us on a flight out to Panama City that evening. From there, it's an hour drive to our beach house. I had rented a huge SUV that could hold all 5 of us, plus the necessities of our luggage, and then arranged to have the rest sent to the house. Drake drives while Shane and Jesse ride in the 3rd row so I can stretch out in the longer middle seat. It's getting late, and I'm exhausted. We don't travel by plane much, unless the guys have to be at an awards show or something like a movie premiere that only takes us off our tour path for a day or so. I hate flying. I always get airsick and spend most of the time with a bag in my hand or in the bathroom. It doesn't make this morning sickness any better, and by the time we'd landed, the guys were all threatening me with another hospital. When I'm finally able to keep down an entire bottle of fizzy lemon lime soda, they don't push the issue. By the time we get to the beach house, which is technically just a huge cottage, I must sleep. Strong arms lift me, and I don't bother to open my eyes as I wrap my arms around Nick's neck and drift off to sleep once more. Bright morning light floods through my window. I reach out for an extra pillow and pull it over my head to block out the harsh light. My bladder protests when I try to go back to sleep, and I sit up slowly so my stomach doesn't have too many reasons to hate me. At a glance, my room is beautiful. Vaulted ceilings, French doors that open onto a balcony, and creamy walls with a soft brown carpet. A 60-inch TV hangs from the wall opposite my bed, which is draped in a beige and cream comforter. Standing, I pad into the connecting bathroom. Sea green accents adorn the walls, candles everywhere and fresh scents of cotton and jasmine. There's a jacuzzi bathtub and a private shower. I know from the virtual tour I'd taken online that this is the master bedroom and bath, because it's the only one with a jacuzzi. I wonder if the guys had put me in here because of that luxury. If so, I hate to tell them I can't use the jacuzzi because I'm pregnant. They had been so thoughtful, it warms my heart. Smiling, I use the bathroom, then take a quick shower. My stomach grumbles for food for once, and I have this crazy craving for bacon and cheese grits. Downstairs, I find the gourmet kitchen with its beautiful granite countertops and the stainless steel appliances. As requested, the fridge and pantry are well stocked with food and soft drinks, but I can't find any bacon or grits anywhere. I hadn't requested those items. I hadn't even had grits since I was a little girl. My stomach growls, and I sigh. Nothing else sounds appealing. I don't know if I can bring myself to eat anything if I can't have my bacon and cheese grits. Pulling out a Sprite, I open the bottle and take a small sip. Morning, Em. Shane comes in through the sliding doors that lead outside. He's covered in sweat, having just finished a run on the beach. How are you feeling? He asks as he opens the fridge and pulls out a bottle of water. I'm hungry, I tell him with a small pout. That's good news. He drops down into a chair at the kitchen table. Can you fix me something, too? We don't have any grits. There's a wobble in my voice, and a tear escapes my left eye. I'm going to cry over not getting grits? What the hell? Shane, seeing my tears, is quick to soothe me. He takes my hands and gives them a little squeeze. So make something else, sweetheart. I shake my head. I want grits, I whisper. I guess it's some crazy pregnancy craving because I don't think I can eat anything else. I want bacon and cheese grits, just like my mom would make when she was actually sober. My chest hurts just thinking about my mom, causing some deep-seated pain to come loose, and I start sobbing. Poor Shane is at a loss. I hear footsteps rushing into the kitchen, Jesse's angry voice demanding to know what's going on, and then I feel his strong arms wrap around me. What's wrong, honey? I can't answer him, so I just bury my face in his neck and continue to sob. I hadn't cried for my mom when she had died. At the time, I'd been so relieved. She was a monster of the worst kind, subjecting me to beatings on a regular basis. Growing up in a trailer where there were always half-empty liquor bottles lying around with crack pipes and heroin needles, it's a wonder I turned out half normal. She wants some grits, I hear Shane tell Jesse, with bacon and cheese, like her mom used to make. Well, go get her some damned grits and bacon, Shane, Jesse yells, exasperated. He lifts me and then sits me on his lap. I hear Shane scrambling around, then slamming the back door as he races out. Emmy, it's okay. We'll get you your grits, sweetheart. He's rocking me now, his voice the one he uses for hurt little things. I shake my head. It won't be the same. It won't taste the same. She made it so good. I loved those grits. They were my favorite. Oh, Emmy. He blows out a frustrated sigh. Honey, she was barely coherent 95% of the time. Why are you even thinking about her now? I don't know. I sob harder. She was evil, and I shouldn't let her invade my mind. But she was my mom, Jesse. My nose starts running, and without thinking, I wipe it on his shoulder as he continues to rock my shaking body. All I can think about is how much I want a bowl of her bacon and cheese grits. Okay, sweetheart. I swear we will get you some, and I will slave over the damned things until they taste just the way you want them. Just please, stop crying. You're tearing me apart. There's the slightest quiver in his voice, and I raise my head to see that his big brown eyes are damp. My sobbing stops. I don't realize that my pain is his pain, too. Sorry. Is this part of those pregnancy hormones that I heard about? He asks, running a hand over his bald head. 'Cause if it is, I don't think I will survive this shit long. A laugh escapes me. I guess so. I never think about my mom. This is so messed up. I don't like it, and hate that I spent even a second crying over that evil bitch. Grimacing, I wipe my eyes with the backs of my hands and notice that Jesse's shirt is soaked with tears and snot. Sorry about your shirt. He pulls it over his head and uses it to dry my face. It's only a shirt, honey. There. Now that's better. My pretty Emmy is back again. He presses a kiss to my forehead and moves so I'm sitting on my own and he's standing. I need coffee. Jesse goes about making a huge pot of potent coffee. The smell fills the whole house, and soon Drake stumbles into the kitchen, half blind with sleep, as he pours himself a cup of Jesse's special blend. The stuff is so thick, it's like swallowing Jell-O. I only ever drank it once. My stomach had cramped for hours, and I felt like I was on speed. Never touched the stuff again. Nick is just joining us, a pair of sleep pants hanging off his lean hips, when Shane comes in with 2 shopping bags. He seems more out of breath now than after his run. I bought all the grits they had, Em. One of each brand. I didn't know if we had cheese or what kind you wanted, so I got several different kinds, and I hope that's enough bacon. I throw my arms around him. not caring that he's still drenched in sweat. Thanks, Shane. He had completely gone overboard, but he was so sweet getting me what I wanted because I'd been so upset. He kisses my cheek. Anything, as long as you are happy, sweetheart. What's that about grits? Nick asks, adding sugar to his mug of coffee. I'm starving. Em wants some bacon and cheese grits, Jesse says as he opens a pack of bacon and tosses it into a pan on the stove. So, Em is getting bacon and cheese grits. He winks at me as he starts putting the rest of the groceries away, just the way her mama made. Chapter 11. With my belly full of Jesse's grits, which had turned out pretty spectacular even if they hadn't tasted like my mother's, I decide to spend the rest of the morning lying down by the beach. We have about a quarter-mile of private beach, and I take advantage. Drake carries a lounger down for me while I carry the umbrella, so I don't get too much sun exposure. With a book in my hand and a bottle of cold water in my drink holder, I'm set. I had picked up the book What to Expect When You're Expecting the day before at the airport, but hadn't gotten past the first few pages. To say I'm terrified about the baby is a minor understatement. But I'm dealing with it. At least I'm feeling better today than I have in what feels like forever. My nausea seems to have calmed down, and even though I'm tired, I feel more rested. The guys leave me alone for a while. Drake had mumbled something about going back to bed after he kindly carried the heavy lounger down for me. I'm glad for the time on my own, something I rarely get. It feels good to stretch out with the warm sun on me and not have to worry about my guys. Around noon, I toss my book on the lounger and stand. I'm starving, and the thought of a grilled cheese sandwich with tomato and bacon sounds heavenly. As I enter the house from the side door that leads into the living room, I find Shane and Nick watching SportsCenter on the 90-inch flat screen mounted on the far wall. You guys hungry? I ask, as I pass the sectional on my way to the bathroom. I need to pee like a pregnant woman. My bladder feels like it's the size of a watermelon, it's so full. I could eat, Shane tells me. What you making? Sandwiches, I call, rushing into the bathroom. When I sit down, it feels so good to relieve myself that I actually moan. After I wash my hands, I go straight to the kitchen and start frying more bacon. I guess that's going to be my go-to crave food, but I'm okay with that. Bacon is awesome. I make a platter of sandwiches, BLTs, grilled cheeses, and turkey clubs. I'm shoving a bacon strip in my mouth when Nick walks in. God, it smells good in here. He pulls a beer from the fridge and pops the top off. That ocean air makes a man hungry. I roll my eyes at him, grinning. Really? And when have you been outside to smell the ocean air? He grins sheepishly and picks up a BLT. Pig. Can I help it that you make the best sandwiches in the world? He pulls me close with his free hand. Those ice blue eyes capture mine, and I'm trapped in their beautiful depths. His hand strokes down my side, making my heart stop. I'm not used to Nick touching me like this. I've craved it, yes, but up until that moment, I had never thought I would be on the receiving end of his caressing touches. When his hand drifts over my hip, the one with my tattoo, and pulls me closer to his side, I go, willingly. I raise my hand and touch his chest. His heart is racing. The heat of his skin burns me, and I lean in, wanting to taste the exposed skin just above the collar of his t-shirt. I want to lick my way up his neck and nibble on his ear. I want... Lunch! Drake rubs his hands together as he comes into the kitchen, his hair crazy from his long nap. Awesome. I haven't had a grilled cheese in forever. Feeling weak, I pull away from Nick. He drops his hand down by his side, his jaw tight. I put a plate together for Drake and hand him a bag of chips before putting my own sandwich together. My heart is beating me to death and my fingers tremble as I stack bacon and tomatoes on my grilled cheese. The others come in and we all sit down to have another meal together. This is nice.
Truly wonderful. We rarely get to eat like this. It's always takeout and on the run, never homemade and never together. This vacation is already worth every penny that I had hated spending. Naps are wonderful. Sleep is divine. I have slept more in the last 2 days than I have in weeks. Yesterday, I'd fallen asleep out on my lounger after lunch. This morning, I slept in until noon after going to bed before 8 o'clock the night before. Now it's barely 3 in the afternoon and my eyes are already feeling heavy. Yawning, I toss my book on the beach towel beside my lounger and stretch my arms above my head. As I do, the material of my bikini top stretches, and I notice something that I have been blind to up until that moment. My boobs are huge. They are at least a cup size bigger than what I would normally be. This news delights me, and I grin as I close my eyes. This pregnancy thing isn't so bad after all. Cool droplets hit my skin, and I shriek as I sit up in the lounger, pulled from my blissful sleep. With a glare at Nick, I shove my sunglasses off my face and into my hair. "You ass!" He chuckles in that deep, deliciously sexy way of his and drops down beside me on the lounger. His wet swim trunks press against my bare, warm thigh, and I smack him on the stomach. "You're freezing, Nick. Is the water really that cold?" "Nah, feels good to me." He takes my glasses off my head and pulls them over his eyes. "This is nice." He moves his arm so my head rests on his shoulder instead of the rolled-up beach towel I'd been using. I snuggle closer until my head is on his chest. "Let's buy a house on the beach. Not that one, but something similar to it. Bigger." I let my arm wrap around his waist, content to be in his arms. "Really?" He nods. "I like the beach, and you seem happy here. We can't live on a tour bus and in hotel rooms forever, Em. Especially now." His fingers stroke up and down my arm. "Would you like to live in Florida or California?" I don't care. And I don't. As long as I have everyone that I love with me, I'd live in a cardboard box for all I care. I'll call Rich later and have him find us a realtor. I want us to have our own house before the summer is over. And I want to tell him that the tour for the fall is off. We can't be traveling so much with you 7 months pregnant. My head shoots up. Wait, what? You can't cancel the tour? Sure I can. You can't tour with us that pregnant, Em. And I'm not going to leave you at home like that. Rich will get over it. He makes it sound so reasonable, but it only makes me feel guilty. He's canceling something huge for me. I can't let him make sacrifices like that. Nick. He pushes my sunglasses up into his hair. Don't argue with me, Emmy. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. There are more important things than a stupid fucking tour. I think I fall in love with him all over again in that moment. I can't help the smile that spreads across my face as I go back to resting my head against his hard, muscled chest. Whatever you say, Nick. That's right, woman. We both laugh, and then I feel his lips in my hair. Let's take a nap. I'm exhausted. Good idea. I shift so my leg entwines with both of his. Then we can go get some dinner. His fingers tangle in my hair as he massages my scalp. Just you and me. That has me lifting my head again. Like a date? There's a smile on his perfect kiss-me lips. Just like a date, baby girl. Chapter 12. How is it that I have no clothes to wear? I have jeans and shirts and underwear, but I have nothing that I deem sexy or even date-worthy. The jeans are expensive, but old, with tears that are not supposed to be there and frayed from so many washes. My shirts are all t-shirts, and 9 out of 10 of them have Demon's Wings logos on them. My bras and panties are all cotton and the least sexy things I've ever seen. With a sob,
I flop on my bed and stare at my now disaster of a room. All my clothes have been tossed around the room. There's even a bra hanging from the head of my bed. I can't go out on my first date with Nick. Fuck, my first date ever, in jeans and a t-shirt. There's a short tap on my closed bedroom door before it opens, and Nick sticks his head in. Hey, babe, you ready? His voice trails off, and his eyes get huge when he sees the mess I had made of my room in the last 15 minutes. Another sob escapes me. I have nothing to wear. His brows rise in that adorable way I love so much, and he walks fully into the room. Your room suggests differently, baby. What's the matter? All I have are stupid jeans, and most of my t-shirts have Demon's Wings logos on them. I don't own one fucking dress, not even a skirt. All my panties are made from cotton, and my bras are boring. I grab my pillow and hug it against my chest. He cocks his head to the side. And you want a dress and skirts and underwear that aren't boring? To tell you the truth, that bra hanging from your bedpost is pretty fucking hot. I shoot him a glare. I want something I can wear on our date that you will want to tear off me with your teeth. I want to be sexy. His nostrils flare, and he turns away. Before I can even think about what he's doing, he has the door locked, and he's suddenly in front of me. Stand up, Em. When I don't move, he takes hold of my hands and pulls me to my feet. Gentle fingers lift my chin, forcing me to meet that intense, ice-blue gaze of his. Have I ever lied to you, baby girl? Biting my lip, I shake my head. Nick has always told me the truth. Maybe he's kept things from me, but he's never lied to me. Ever. Then listen to me, because I don't want to repeat myself, okay? I nod, captivated by the way he looks down at me from his 6'3" height. You are the sexiest woman I have ever met. You don't need more than a pair of ripped jeans, a tattered shirt, and ragged underwear, and I'll want to strip you with my teeth. Fuck, girl. You make me hard just by being in the same room. If I smell your perfume, or whatever it is that you wear that makes you smell so amazing, I can't walk straight. I forget how to breathe. All my brain power is focused on his lips as they form those deep, insanely endearing words. If you want those things, then we'll get them. Tonight, tomorrow, whenever you want. But don't get them unless you want them, because I want you more now, standing there in that too big t-shirt and those cut-off jeans, than I ever would in some dress or lingerie.
Really?
My voice comes out all breathy. Really? He traces the waistband of my jeans, making my head swim with desire. So what do you want, Em? Want me to take you shopping? Yes, because I still don't feel sexy, despite his words. My tongue licks my parched lips. But tomorrow. Tomorrow? His voice lowers, taking on that seductive quality I remember from our stolen night together. So, our date is off? I shake my head. No, I just want to skip dinner and fast forward to the kiss goodnight. And this time, I want to bask in the fact that he really knows it's me that he's kissing. And maybe see how talented you are at stripping me with those teeth of yours. He gives me a predator's grin, causing me to shiver deliciously. I think I can oblige the lady. All right, I will be the first one to say that having sex with Nick is not a smart idea. But damn if it isn't the best idea I've ever had. That man has talent. This I knew from our first night together. The man could use his tongue in a way that makes me beg for mercy. Our first night together had nothing on last night. Maybe it's because I don't have to feel guilty for taking advantage of him, or having to hide how I really feel about him. Perhaps it's because this time he's sober, and cries out my name when he comes, instead of baby. Or maybe it's because afterward, instead of passing out on me, he turns me
so my back is against his chest, and he cuddles me until I fall asleep in his arms. Whatever the reason, it's magical, and I wake the next morning feeling like I'm floating. He's still pressed up against my back, with one hand cupping my breast and the other lying protectively over where our daughter grows in my belly. It's the perfect way to wake up, and I want that every morning for the rest of my life. Warm lips caress my neck. Morning, baby. His hot breath is at my ear. How'd you sleep? If I said that it was the best night's sleep I ever had, would you believe me? I feel his smile against my shoulder. Yes, because it was one of the best night's sleep I've ever had, too. I'm not exactly happy about his answer. Turning in his arms, I grasp his chin and meet his smiling eyes. One of the best? He nods. Yep. My green eyes narrow. What were the other ones? He grins. Let me see. A few weeks ago, when you crawled in beside me on the bus, when you couldn't sleep last year, and spent the night in my hotel room talking to me until I fell asleep. He shrugs. All of them seem to involve you, sleeping in my arms. Okay, so I'm decisively happier with that answer. Not many women wouldn't be, especially when someone as sinfully sexy as Nicholas Armstrong says those things to her. I don't know why I keep you around sometimes, mister. He bats those thick eyelashes at me, and I'm transfixed for a moment by the sheer beauty of them as they frame his ice blue eyes. Gods, I would kill for eyelashes like that. Several shades darker than his hair, they're magnificent. It's not fair that his eyes are so beautiful. Let's grab a shower, baby. I'm starving. At the suggestion of getting up and eating, my stomach automatically grumbles. Nick grins at me. How about some bacon? I laugh. I'm going to end up hating bacon before this is all over. Probably. He kisses me, quick and hard, but no less potent. Now get that sexy ass up so we can eat. I need food, woman. Food. Chapter 13. I don't have any female friends. I was practically raised by 4 rockers. It's little wonder that I have any interest in shopping. Last night was the first time I've ever wanted to own a dress. This baby is so making me lose my mind. All I want is to feel pretty, sexy. But I don't want to lose who I am. I don't want designer dresses. I would probably throw up if I spent more than $100 on an outfit. So I ended up at the mall. At a mall on a Wednesday in a tourist city? Yeah, that's a good idea. Not. Do you have any idea how many teenage girls are at a mall on a Wednesday during the summer? Well, I sure as hell didn't, and I was positive that Nick hadn't had a clue either. So, when we walk into American Eagle and the salesgirl standing with a half-folded shirt in her hands screams, I nearly jump out of my skin, because I hadn't been expecting it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! The girl is in front of Nick before I can even figure out where the scream had come from. You're Nick Armstrong. She screamed again, causing everyone in the store and outside to stop and see what's going on. I am like your biggest fan ever. I'm Meg. I know then and there that I'm not going to get any shopping done with Nick that day. It seems like as soon as Meg says his name, he's surrounded by panting girls. One actually pushes me out of the way so she can get to him. Hands are all over him, wanting to have the memory of touching the rocker who probably starred in their immature wet dreams. I've had to hide my feelings for Nick for years now. Even when it was killing me inside, I never let anyone see how much having skanks touch him, or worse, sleep with him, bothered me. But today, I'm not able to hide behind those walls that I had built for times like this. I'm pregnant with his baby, for fuck's sake. He had spent hours making me come apart in his arms just the night before. So while he grins and laughs and lets them touch him, I turn and walk away. Jealousy eats at me like a disease, and I'm so fucking mad at him for letting them touch him that he let them push me out like I was insignificant. A more rational part of my brain tries to excuse it, attempts to make me see that he's just playing the part and hamming it up for his fans. But when it comes to most of the female Demon's Wings fans, I wonder if they even listen to their music, or if it's just about getting in a hot rocker's bed. From what I've witnessed over the years, the latter is more along the lines of truth than the former. My phone starts playing Ashes by Demon's Wings, and I glare at the damn thing in my hand, seeing Nick's face smiling back at me on the screen of the iPhone. Instead of answering, I get on the escalator and go up to the second floor. I can't face him right now. There's no telling what I would have done if I saw him right at that moment. Slap his overly handsome face? Knee him in the balls? Confess that I'm obsessively in love with him? No way would I do that. It's bad enough that he knows how much I wanted him, the lengths that I had stooped to just get in his pants. I don't look over the rail when I hear him frantically calling my name from the ground level. Let him worry. Give it 5 minutes and he'll be surrounded by girls again, and I'll just be an afterthought. Fuck that, and fuck him. A store catches my attention, and I go in without thinking about it. Now this is my kind of store. Black lace, chains, silk, and mesh. Oh, fuck yeah. There's a moody girl behind the counter who raises her head to frown at me when I walk in. She has some kind of rock magazine on the counter in front of her, and after deciding that I'm not worth her time, she goes back to the article in front of her. I get lost in buying clothes, sexy black panties, matching bras, thigh highs and garters, a black dress that screams that it's made for me, a skirt with chains holding the sides together, tops that show off my new assets, shoes, and more shoes that go with all my darkly sexy outfits. I make sure to get everything a size bigger, so I'll have a little room to grow since my pregnancy will start showing soon. And when I try on shoes, I find that a size bigger and wider are needed. But that doesn't surprise me. I had read about some women's feet growing like that when they were pregnant. The girl behind the counter gives me a long look as I toss my stuff up on the countertop. "Did you find what you were looking for?" she asks. I take in her dyed black hair, the piercings in her nose and eyebrow, and the tattoo of a demon on her right forearm, and feel like I had found a kindred spirit. Had I known this girl growing up, she would have most likely ended up my best friend. All I have are jeans and stupid Demon's Wings shirt. It was time for a change. The girl's eyes narrow at me. Demon's Wings shirts are not stupid. I have 6 of them. Then you have exceptionally good taste in music. But I needed something that screams sexy, not rocker girl next door. She starts bringing up my clothes, and I turn to the jewelry rack behind me. They are cheap little things, some of them only $20 at most, but they're beautiful. A sexy demon, with her wings and horns in a tarnished silver, hanging from a chain, catches my attention, and I toss it on the counter with the rest of my things. The side with the belly button ring is next, and I find several that I like. Some no studs, and I'm done. There are 8 bags full by the time the girl is finished scanning my things into the computer. I hand over the credit card and watch the girl's eyes bulge when she sees the name on the card. Nicholas Armstrong? She sputters and gives me a closer look. It is you. I thought you looked familiar. You're Ember Jameson. I smile at the girl. Yes. You have to be the coolest girl in the fucking world. She swipes the card before giving it back. I love that poster of Demon's Wings with you clinging to Jesse Thornton. Damn, I would kill to be you. That makes my smile disappear. No, you wouldn't. I assure her. My life might look perfect now, but no one would ever wish for the life that I had growing up. No one deserves that kind of nightmare-filled childhood. There's a commotion outside the store, and I turn to find 3 security guards standing outside with a pale and frantic-looking Nick. I glance down at my phone and see that I've been in the store for more than an hour. Crap. Nick! I call out as he starts to pass the store. His head snaps around, and he moves quicker than I've ever seen him move as he enters the store and pulls me against his chest. His entire body is shaking, his fingers trembling as they knot in my hair and jerk my head back to meet his blue eyes.
Don't you ever fucking do that to me again.
Most of my anger had faded while I was shopping, so I stand on tiptoe and give him a peck on the cheek. Figured you were having so much fun with the fan club that you wouldn't even miss me. His eyes narrow.
Were you jealous?
I pull away from him and turn to the girl behind the counter who's gazing at Nick in wonder. It doesn't bother me this time. I know that this girl is a true fan of the band, not just a fan of the way the guys look. I see her name tag and give her an appreciative smile. Thanks for all the help, Beth. Nick, Beth has been so much help today. I spent $3,000 without even realizing it. Nick raises an eyebrow but offers the girl a grin. Thank you, Beth. I pull out one of the tops that I'd just bought, a gray one, and reach for the marker on the counter beside the computer. I write my name across the back and then hand the marker to Nick without looking at him. Write down your address for me and I'll send you that poster you like so much with the guys' autographs on it.
That, she shakes her head, that would be awesome. Thank you.
I shrug, watching her scribble across a small piece of paper. It's nothing. I like meeting real Demon's Wings fans. Thanks again. Nick snatches up the 8 bags and follows me out of the store, with a wink at the girl. Chapter 14. I sleep alone that night. Call me childish and immature, I don't care. I call it protection. After the episode at the mall and my battle with jealousy, I can't handle spending another night in Nick's arms without giving my feelings away. So I lock my door when I go to bed that night and don't move when I hear Nick's knock.
Please don't do this,
he calls. But I just sit on my bed. This morning, I'm already showered and dressed, but I'm not ready to go down and be nice to everyone, so I sit on my bed with my hair still damp and my laptop open. There are a few emails that I need to handle from Rich. He's not happy about the guys postponing the September tour, and I'm not surprised. I don't know how much Nick has told his manager, but I'm aware that the asshole is blaming me. After handling the business end of the emails, I grab my phone, snap a picture of me giving the middle finger, and text it to Rich Branson. Yeah, I really give a shit about what he thinks of me. Whatever. I'm surfing the net, looking for reviews on local OBGYNs, when I get a text back.
Pregnancy has really calmed down your bitchiness, princess. Not.
Instead of calling to scream at him for calling me princess, I just resend the picture of me giving him the finger and toss my phone aside. An hour later, I'm out of my room and downstairs. Jesse's watching some disgusting zombie movie on the flat screen in the living room, and I wish I had time to sit and watch it with him.
Where are you going?
He asks when I pick up the keys to the SUV. I was able to get an appointment with a really good doctor. I call over my shoulder. They had a cancellation this afternoon and were able to squeeze me in. I have to get going or I'm going to be late. He follows me out the door.
Where's Nick? Don't you think he should go with you?
I shrug. He wasn't in his room, and I don't have time to worry about it. I climb into the driver's seat and start punching in the address for the medical complex into the GPS. Jesse jumped in beside me.
Someone should go with you.
He gives me a hard look that tells me not to argue. Not that I would have. I'm glad to have his company and the support of someone who loves me. With a smile, I back out of the driveway and turn toward Panama City. The staff are friendly and professional. I have to fill out countless forms when I arrive. Insurance, family, and personal medical history. There's an entire page on my period. When was my first period? How many days did my flow last? How often is my cycle? On the back, there are even more personal questions. How many sexual partners have you had? Have you had/currently have an STD? Jesse sits patiently beside me while I fill out everything, and comes with me when the nurse calls my name. It's not lost on me that Nick should have been with me today, and I'm feeling the need for his presence as the visit wears on. I try calling him twice while we wait for the doctor to come in, but he isn't picking up.
I figured he's paying me back for not letting him in my room last night. When Dr. Morgan steps into the room, I'm surprised by how pretty she is. In her late 30s, she has an ageless beauty about her. I figure she'll be this beautiful when she's 80. She gives me a kind smile and shakes my hand. Hello, Ember. It's nice to meet you. She offers her hand to Jesse. Are you Dad? No, ma'am. Just a friend. Dr. Morgan raises an eyebrow, but doesn't comment as she takes a seat and lays her iPad on the little table beside her chair. Well, Ember, tell me about your pregnancy. I'm 19 weeks, and it's a girl. I'm not sure what the doctor wants, but that's all I really know about my pregnancy. And you just recently found out? I nod. Okay, well, let me tell you about a few things that we need to do. We have to get some blood work, and I need to do a pap smear. These are all routine tests to make sure that you and the baby are healthy. Since you are already so far along in your pregnancy, I would like to do another ultrasound to get some measurements and confirm your due date. Okay. Good. She pulls a small device from her coat pocket. First, I would like to take a listen to the baby's heartbeat, if that's okay. I sit back, and the doctor pulls my t-shirt up. A little gel on the end of the device, and she's pushing it against my lower abdomen. She moves it around a few times, and then the room is filled with the noise that can't be mistaken for anything but the heartbeat of my baby. That's amazing, Jesse whispers from his chair against the wall. I send him a watery smile. I know. Fuck, Em. This is real, huh? You're having a baby. He rubs his hands over his bald head. The doctor laughs softly. There is undeniably a baby in there. Sounds good. A strong heartbeat. She takes the device away and uses a paper towel to wipe the gel from my skin. Now for the unpleasant part, Ember. She pulls out a gown and a paper blanket from the cabinet under the table where her iPad rests. Everything off. I'll step outside while you get undressed. The gown opens in the front. I wait until she's gone before reaching for my shirt. Jesse stands and turns his back until I have the gown on and the paper blanket covering me. I'm not embarrassed to have Jesse there. We're comfortable enough with our bodies and the nature of our relationship that he's seen me naked more than a few times. When I had my first period, it was Jesse who bought me tampons and then showed me how to use them. That might sound inappropriate, but there hadn't been anyone else to help me. My mom had been passed out after a night of booze, crack, and men, and I had been terrified of what was going on with my body. A minute later, the doctor returns, and I have my first experience with the torture that is called a pap smear. This is just to check for cervical cancer and STDs, Dr. Morgan explains as she does something that makes me whimper. In the next second, it's all over. Looks good, Ember. Your cervix is nice and closed. She pulls off her gloves and tosses them in the trash before washing her hands. My nurse is going to come in and take some blood. Don't freak out because she is going to take several vials. She glances at Jesse. Make sure she eats soon. He nods. I want to do an ultrasound, but my tech is out sick today. Can you come back in the morning? I'm glad for the delay in the ultrasound. I want Nick with me for that. He's the father, the man I love. He should be with me to see something that magical. My first one had left me in love with a being that I hadn't known existed. I'm sure that the experience will leave him just as moved. After we leave, I feel just a little lightheaded from the blood work, and Jesse helps me out to the SUV. I'm more than happy to hand over the keys so he can drive. A quick stop at McDonald's because I want a Big Mac with bacon, and we're headed back to the beach house. I'm happy to get home. I can't wait to talk to Nick about going to the doctor with me the next morning. The rush of seeing our child while it moves inside of me is going to be something that will be one of the biggest moments of his life. I'm sure of it. As soon as Jesse has the SUV in park, I jump out of the vehicle and practically skip inside. Nick? I call out his name, but there isn't anyone in the house. Movement out on the beach catches my attention, and I turn to see Nick, Drake, and Shane out on the beach with a group of girls in bikinis. My excitement evaporates. As I move closer to the French doors that lead outside to the beach, my heart cracks open. Nick has 2 of the 5 girls wrapped around him. He's laughing and shaking his head at something that Shane is saying. Boobs that have to be 3 sizes bigger than my own rub against his chest as it vibrates with laughter. "Are we having a party?" Jesse asks behind me. I swallow around the lump in my throat. Looks like it, but I don't think we were invited. Disgusted, I turn and head for the stairs. "So, are you going to go with me in the morning?" "I thought you wanted Nick to go with you." "I don't want anything from Nick," I assure him as I climb the stairs. Chapter 15. Pregnancy hormones are a scary thing. They leave you in a heap of snotty tissues and damp pillows. They make you think things that you would never normally think about, like running away from the only life you've ever known, from the people who have always protected you and loved you. They make you mad at the world. I lock myself in my room and turn on my computer. We've only been on this stupid vacation for less than a week, and I'm ready for it to be over with. I want Nick and the others gone. I want them to leave. I don't know what I want, okay? Ever since I was 5, my guys have been in my life. When I went to live with them at the age of 15, I knew that I was finally home. They were my safe haven. I always thought that as long as I had those 4 men with me, I would never have to worry about anything ever again. But now I'm contemplating leaving them behind. That's the scariest thought that has ever gone through my brain. I spend 3 hours searching for exactly what I want, and then pull up my checking account to see what I have to play with. There's $3 million in my savings, and a little over 1 in my checking. Yes, Rich pays me very well. Call me a coward. I don't care. I'm not going to stick around and be subjected to more of what I'd witnessed when I came back from the doctor. I'm not emotionally stable enough to keep hiding my feelings for that stupid man. And I'll be damned if I let him have that kind of power over my emotions once he realizes that I'm in love with him. Packing my things is something I've become an expert at. It takes me less than an hour to get everything I need into my suitcases. After a shower, I sit on the edge of my bed and wait for the house to grow quiet. There's been music playing down on the beach, but I haven't left my room to check out what's happening. From the giggling females and the deep male laughter, it doesn't take much to figure out that they're having a hell of a good time. Around 2 in the morning, the music stops. A while later, there are doors slamming shut, and I finally go out to check on everything. The house is dark. Everyone's either in bed or left, since they had all decided that women would not be staying in the house. I refuse to check Nick's room to find out what category he fits in. If I find out he's not in bed, then I know I won't survive. Back in my room, I use my cell to call for a taxi and then wheel my luggage down the stairs as quietly as I can. The driver had just pulled up in the driveway when I see a light turn on upstairs. My heart stops when I realize that it's Nick's room. The curtain twitches, and I see his face appear in the window. I turn away and start throwing my things into the back of the cab before the driver could get out. There's only my big suitcase left, and I'm frantic to leave. The driver picks it up just as the front door opens, and Nick comes running out. "Em!" "Please hurry," I beg the little old man. "Stop," Nick shouts. "What the fuck are you doing?" I reach for the door to the back of the taxi, but he's there before I can get it open. His fingers lock around my arms and jerk me to face him. "Where are you going?" "Away." I spit the word at him. The street lamp casts enough light that I see his face is livid and pale. "The fuck you are. You aren't leaving. You can't leave." His voice cracks, and his hold on my arms tightens, causing me to wince in pain, but he doesn't release me. "Get back in the fucking house." "Why?" I demand. "Why should I stay here? So you can torment me with all of those skanks? So that you can rub it in my face with what I can never have?" A humorless laugh escapes me. "Thanks, but no thanks. I'm tired of it all. Tired of seeing the different women flowing in and out of your bed,
tired of dreaming of something I know I can never have.
What are you talking about? He demands. There hasn't been anyone in my bed in months. Jesus Christ, Emmy, are you blind? Can't you see how I feel about you?
His question confuses me. I can't hide the frown that wrinkles my brow. What feelings? He closes his eyes and shakes his head.
Please, Em, come back into the house and let's talk. Don't leave, baby. Please, don't go.
I don't know what I should do. My brain is screaming at me to get in the taxi and go, that this isn't the life I should bring my child into. How could I possibly bring a child into our world that's full of nothing but partying and women for my guys? But my heart fights with my brain, demanding that I shut up and go with Nick. Seeing the indecision on my face, Nick looks at the driver and asks the man to unload my things. He tips him generously, then holds on to me until the taxi is pulled out of the driveway and disappears into the night before reaching for my suitcases.
Come on, baby,
he urges softly. Mute, I follow him into the beach house. He drops my luggage in the hallway by the door and then grasps my hand. Nick tugs me up the stairs and into his room, where he locks his door and pushes me to sit on the edge of his bed. Still holding my hand, he crouches down in front of me, forcing me to look at him.
Where were you going to go, Em?
He whispers in a hoarse voice. I shrug. Somewhere there aren't groupies and skanks everywhere I turn. Nick grimaces.
Are they really that upsetting to you? Now, after all the years you've lived with us?
I glare at him. What do you think? Should I want to have this baby and subject her to all those sluts on a daily basis? Should I let her see what you're really like? The egotistical rocker who has to have all his adoring groupies hanging off his arm while I, her mother, have to watch from the sidelines? His head snaps back as if I had physically slapped him.
That's how you feel? Like you have to watch from the sidelines?
He releases my hand and cups my face in his hands.
Don't you know that I want you beside me? You, and only you.
My snort is not pretty. That's pretty hard to imagine, Nick. What with yesterday and those sluts pushing me away from you so fast, and today with two skanks rubbing against you like they were in heat.
So you are jealous.
He grins, and I want to punch him. Or maybe even kick him, where he'll feel it the most. I'm debating between the two when he laughs in pure delight, and I decide that smacking him feels better. That knocks the smile off his face. He stares at me in complete surprise, his fingers touching the angry red handprint on his face. I'm so glad that you find rubbing those whores in my face so funny. Who the fuck cares that a little piece of my heart dies every time I see it, right?
Oh, sweetheart.
He shakes his head.
You have really got to open those beautiful green eyes of yours.
He takes my stinging hand that's red from slapping him and kisses the aching center.
The only reason those girls were in my arms was so that I could find out the truth. Yesterday I suspected, but today confirmed it.
What are you talking about? A small smile tilts his lips.
I had to know for sure that you feel just as deeply as I feel for you, Em. You've been driving me insane with jealousy. Do you know that I've come close to killing my best friend 100 different times in the past 6 months?
My eyes widen in surprise. Jesse? Why would you do that?
For the same reasons why I went crazy when you told me you were pregnant. I didn't want anyone but me to be able to touch you. You're mine, Em. It's taken me forever to admit that to myself. But when I did, I couldn't stand the idea of Jesse or Axton or someone else so much as holding your hand, let alone touching you.
He shakes his head.
The night Axe took you to the hospital, he called me 10 times before I picked up. I had watched you let him kiss you. Fuck. I couldn't see straight, I was so jealous. And then I played that song and expected you to jump into my arms when I walked off stage. But you were gone. I went crazy with rage, stormed off, and refused to answer my phone when Axton first started calling. I had no idea what had happened to you. So when I finally listened to one of the messages he left,
He pauses, swallowing hard.
You were so sick, And there I was acting like some petulant child because you weren't falling into my arms like I'd been dreaming about.
Remembering his song makes my heart ache. I had tried to forget that Nick was in love. I didn't stick around long enough to listen to your song. I started throwing up when I realized that you were in love. The last word comes out a whisper, and I have to bite my lip to keep it from trembling. Nick leans forward on his knees until I feel his breath on my neck. "Sweet, sweet Emmy," he murmurs, still so blind. "How can I open your eyes, baby girl? Do you need me to spell it out? Have I been such a fool in not realizing that you couldn't see just what you've done to me?" His lips brush against the sensitive spot just below my ear, causing me to shiver. Yes, I am in love. There is this ember in my heart that has hold of me and won't let go. He sings the last part, and tears spill from my eyes. I have been blind. I have refused to see that while I was trying so desperately to hide my feelings for Nick, he had been trying to show me his own. Things have never been the same between me and him as they were between me and Jesse, Drake, or Shane. There's always been some invisible string that connects us, that holds on to my heart in a different location than where the others are lodged. I had known it when I came to live with them at 15. I knew it, and I had refused to see because when you have nothing, you fight for everything that you do have and are too scared of losing it. That's why my stolen night with Nick had been so easy to take and keep safe in my heart. That's why it's so easy to love the baby growing inside of me. Nick and I are meant to be together. I love you, Em. With everything inside of me, I love you. You are my favorite dream come to life, and I never want to let you go. His lips caress my eyes, sipping at my tears. I need you to breathe. You keep the world afloat when everything is going insane. I've loved you for so long, Nick, I whisper. You were my dark prince in rusty armor when I was a kid. Now you've become my reason for getting up each morning. The last few years, watching you have a revolving door of one-night stands has slowly killed me. I instantly hate any female that looks at you. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. I had no idea. He cups my face. They didn't mean anything, Em. I swear it. They were just something that distracted me from doing what I knew I shouldn't. When you came to live with us, I wanted you then. I thought I was turning into some demented pedophile, and I hated myself. Nick blows out a frustrated sigh, and I understand his reasons for hating himself for those feelings. I'm not the only one with a horrible childhood. Then I realized it was just you, but that didn't make me feel any better. So I used the other girls to take my mind, and other things, off of what I wanted most. The dreams started a few years ago. I would wake up in the middle of the night with my dick so hard, and it would take all my willpower to keep from seeking out the warmth of your arms so I could make my dreams a reality. One long finger traces the fullness of my bottom lip. That's why our night together didn't surprise me. I just brushed it off as another dream. I thought you didn't know it was me. I hated myself for taking advantage of you like that, but I lived off of the memories. I tangle my fingers in his thick hair. That night was more than I could have ever hoped for. And tonight he's making all my dreams come true. Nick brushes a tender kiss across my lips, lingering for just a moment before pulling away. When you ran away from me at the mall, I went a little crazy. I couldn't find you, and it was the worst feeling I've ever experienced. Until tonight. Seeing that cab and realizing that you were about to leave me, my heart actually stopped, Em. I couldn't handle those girls hanging off you, Nick. I love you so obsessively, and I thought... Tears clog my throat, and I'm unable to speak. He kisses me again. Just a ploy to see how jealous you were, my love. Nothing more. As soon as I saw you move away from the door, I untangled them and pushed them on Jesse as soon as he came outside. I didn't stick around afterward. I spent the rest of the evening watching SportsCenter and drinking beer in the living room, while I planned my next move to make you see that I'm in love with you. His words are healing every crack in my heart. I don't think I've ever been as happy as I am in this moment. Never have I dreamed that Nick and I would ever be together, and here he's giving me everything I've ever wanted. His love. You aren't going to leave me, are you, Em? He whispers against my lips. He tastes so good, I moan. I shake my head. No. Never. Nick brushes his nose against my own. And you love me, yes? Yes, I breathe as he cups my breast. Will you marry me, my ember? His fingers play with mine, entwining, caressing. A jolt of pure happiness goes through me. My breath catches in my chest, and I can't stop the tears that spill from my eyes. Yes. Epilogue. It's been great performing here for you, New York. The crowd is going crazy, screaming for more as Nick winds down the concert. It's a daytime concert, which is what most of Demon's Wings concerts are these days. Rarely on these short tours do they do a night show, but the fans are still growing strong. Just because they've changed their lifestyles doesn't mean that Demon's Wings have lost their fan following. You know that we love you all and could not do this without you. It's the way that Nick always ends a concert, showing appreciation and making sure that the entire band got their share of limelight. Jesse Thornton on drums loves you. Shane Stevenson on bass adores you. My man Drake over here is crazy about you. Nick touches a hand to his heart. And you know that with the exception of my two favorite girls in the world, you are my life. I grin when he turns and blows me a kiss, the silver ring on his left hand reflecting the sunlight. Gods, I fall a little deeper for that man every fucking day. And so, with one last song, we're going to leave you. But know that you will forever be in our hearts. You know this song, have requested it worldwide, making it #1 for 4 months straight in a row. Help me out. Sing along. My heart melts as I listen to the words that have been part of my nightly routine for the last 2 years. Sleeping Angel is our angel's lullaby, and Mia can't sleep without her daddy singing it to her. But don't think that just because Nick is a father now, that he's completely soft. Some people have wondered if he lost his rocker edge when Sleeping Angel had gotten so popular. Everyone's been torn up because they fear that Demon's Wings will just be about over-sentimental love for the women in their lives. They don't have to worry. Nick still has a lot of the past to write about. Just because Sleeping Angel is #1 on the rock charts doesn't mean that it's the only hit they have off their latest album. The music can be just as dark at times as it is sentimental. Hearing Nick singing her favorite song, the toddler wiggles in my arms, and I set her on her feet. Before you freak out and think that I subject my toddler to a rock show, relax. We had only just left our private bus, one that had been designed for a family traveling with a child, a little while ago, after Mia woke from her afternoon nap. Mia always wants to see the end of her father's shows. To say that she's a daddy's girl is a huge understatement. It breaks my heart a little that she would rather have her daddy than me, but I'm learning to live with that. Nick and I have even talked about having another baby, but that's something I want to wait a little longer on. Even if I'm only second best to Mia, I never tire of spoiling that little girl. Having another baby right now could take away from that. She clings to my leg, still a little frightened of the crowds that are always at a Demon's Wings concert. But as her father sits there, surrounded on stage by all the men in her life that Mia knows will never let anything hurt her, she lets go of me. Before I can move, she starts running, her chubby little legs moving faster than I've ever seen her move before. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy! Mia throws herself into her father's open arms and hugs him tight as he continues to sing just for her. Sleep, my angel. Nick's voice takes on the softer tone that he reserves for Mia alone when he sings her to sleep in his arms every night. I shake my head, knowing that the sight of the big bad rocker with the tiny little replica of me in his arms is making the females in the crowd fall deeper in love with him by the second. But I'm okay with that, because with the exception of our angel, I'm the only woman to ever hold on to Nick's heart.
This has been an Audible Studios production of The Rocker Who Holds Me, written by Terri Ann Browning, performed by Deborah Woodward. Producer Mike Charzik. Copyright 2013, Anna Henson. Production copyright 2015 by Audible Inc. Audible Studios is a division of Audible Inc. If you enjoyed this audiobook, be sure to get more books in the Rocker series today.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.